All right, guys, welcome in. Like we start every podcast with a Bible verse, and today's verse led us to Colossians 3:23. Work willingly at whatever you do as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people. Colossians 3:23. And with that being said, I'm with. You guys can go ahead and introduce yourselves.
My name is Coach Carlos Quintanar. I'm the head varsity wrestling coach, and beside me is.
I'm Coach Anthony Gammons. I'm the head coach for the Mendota Junior High School.
All right, well, welcome in, guys.
Welcome.
You
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, for sure.
Thanks for having us. It's a lovely day today.
Yes, sir.
We're all caffeinated and we're ready to roll.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. And by the way,
Quick shout out to Coffee 33. Get your local coffee out here. We're in Fargo today. If we're in Mendota, we've been DMichus, but it's all good.
Oh, for sure. Like you said, support local, local.
Support locally.
All right, guys. Well, we'll just jump right in it. All right. So kind of like tell us a little bit about yourself. So like we'll kind of we'll start with you, Coach, and then just kind of like give us, a little briefing about who you are, kind of just describe, how you got into coaching, and then we'll kind of go from there.
All right. So what got me into coaching? So, my first sport, my dad got me into it. I've always been a little guy. Still am a little guy. Right now I got a small man syndrome. Anyways, I remember being around 9 years old, and I remember I went home and I was like having a long day, and I didn't want to talk to no one. And my dad's like, "Pues qué tienes tú?" He's like, "What's wrong with you?" And I'm like, it's just people being mean to me and this and that. No, que being mean to you. Tienes que animar, no, and this and that. And I'm like, well, what? I'm just being a big old sob about it. He's like, no, aquí no vas a hacer que, you're not going to be a victim in this house. He would tell me, no. And I still remember that day he took me to Westside to go box with Coach Mark Banuelos, and that was my first taste of any kind of sport was through boxing. And this was 20-something years ago.
That's a lot of people's first sport in Mendota.
Yeah, and then
boxing at Westside Youth, something at the Westside Youth.
You got to get the grit in you, bro.
Yeah.
And honestly, that really shaped me up. But I've always been just nice. That never left me. That never left me.
Yeah.
But so I had 10 years old. I started boxing, and then I always came and go. Always did it during the seasons, and then junior high came around, and then puberty started. I got a little bigger, but I was always in shape. Not the biggest guy, but I was fast and I can move. And everyone was like, "Oh, you should do football, right? And you should do wrestling." And I still was like, "Nah." But my primo, Mario, all my cousins played it. My cousins, Mario, Adam, Rafa, and they're all athletes. I was just the quiet kid, but I was still shy, whatever. And then they go, I felt like it was Mario. Mario goes, "Bro, you play football, you're gonna get all the girls, right?" And I'm like, "All the girls?" He's like, "Yeah, dude, they put on the jersey and the cheerleaders, and then you guys get hang out, and then like, oh, ahí me animé, right?" So, dude, and then I played 5 years later, I get no girlfriends, bro. So it was a lie. It was a lie this whole time. But that got me into it. So look at junior high, I was looking to start my 7th grade year. I got in a little bike accident and I hurt my leg, so I had to take a year off. And then my 8th grade year is when I went, and it was with Coach Nick Daniels.
Oh, okay. Shout out Nick Daniels.
Nick Daniels. And in that staff, we had, if you can help me with this, Tony, there was Nick, Coach Cardenas.
Okay.
Frank, Coach Daniels, who was the longtime director for for football. He recently had to step down due to health concerns, and now currently Justin Silva runs the football.
Okay.
Runs the Cobra football thing. And Coach, it was the Daniel Bros at the time in Mendota.
Yeah, Mike and Nick.
That was them, Mike and Nick. But Coach Nick would do Cobras. And so Mike will sprinkle in. And I think that's pretty much the staff there. That's my 8th grade year. I had Turi, Edgar. Edgar was there too. 7th grade year. He was still at that time he was really gonna be a feature back.
I was a freshman.
Yeah, you were a freshman, so we're a grade apart. Yeah. But Cobra football was still kind of like, hey, we're getting playoffs. It was still good. And at the time,
we had a good base. I would say from when I played to the next 4 years was they did a really good, solid foundation.
That's when you guys kind of almost built like a little dynasty, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a solid foundation.
Because were you guys part of the ESPN documentary?
We came
missed
late.
it.
We
Yeah.
were we built the house, but we didn't live in it.
It's kind of weird, like
Dude.
seeing that, like being like doing so many great things and you miss everything by a year. But I mean, you just gotta be grateful. You know, you set that up for the people to come. But you're like, you know, you're a little salty looking back, like, hey, you know, where did we get that field, those jerseys?
The jerseys. You guys said it was the jerseys
Everything.
first, and I was like, oh, I wore the jerseys, but I didn't get the ESPN, bro. So every year, we're missing out. But it's cool for the kids, right? Every year they get something else. They get the. I got mad. This is where I got mad. They got like this portable the water. You see it
machine.
now.
Bro, that
Dude,
water
we used to
machine is class.
get agua from the freaking the yoga, right? The yug. And if it had cool water, they'll get it from the tap, and you just had to wait a long ass line and get your little squirts in, you know?
We were drinking water literally off the stadium, the concrete wall.
Uh-huh.
Water jug, the igloo's just up there, and you're
No.
drinking water with the button hanging under.
Tony, now they got 2 of them, bro,
Now
and
they
each little jug has like 6 little mangueras on each side, so and no one's waiting in line, bro. They got it cool now. Okay, but staying on the timeline,
Yeah.
as far as coaching, so
Now it's this. Hey, this is good. This is good.
that's
content
good.
right
Okay,
here.
I'm just
You're
gonna. I don't want to stay ADD here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm bad, bro. So we go Cobras, and then mind you, Tony and I played football together, and so Cobras, as far as me goes, I played mostly corner that year, and then we played. I just remembered it too. I posted it on my Instagram. I was like, "Hey, put a movie," and Edgar of all people puts me Friday Night Lights, and I'm like, "Damn, that's crazy that he puts it," because we watched Friday Night. The first time I saw the movie Friday Night Lights was during a playoff game against Washington Union.
Okay.
Okay.
I remember that game.
Yeah.
I was my freshman year. I was in high school.
Yeah, and then
had to go
I was starting corner at the time, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing, bro. Like I saw a flat, right, and I'm playing corner, and I guess I still take it back. My assignment at the time, what I thought was, hey, I got to cover the flat, and that's who I got to get. So 2 receivers, right? One ran a flat and one ran the streak, but I didn't have help over the top. I get the flat, and homeboy gets a free touchdown, and I get a free ripping right from missing the Sagoon missing the coverage, right? And
Yeah.
and I probably did. So then there goes my starting spot, Washington Union, and I'm all weak out, right, being a victim again. But here's where it started, though, Tony. It's gonna take you back. The following year, first team offense is on there, and they're throwing in the second, third strings, right, and everyone's getting mopped because like the first stringers are just bullying. And one thing about small town football is you get a lot of dudes, right? If they start offense or defense, whatever, they're gonna play
Both ways.
offense and defense. You know, it's not like until like you go like Clovis, Buchanan, or Division I, Division II schools, you get a kid to specialize in just their position. But even then, like, hey, they play offense, they might get some defensive reps. But anyways, here in small town, if you're an athlete, bro, you're gonna play both ways and special teams. Dude, you're playing 3 ways.
It's funny
Travis Hunter.
because
Everybody does the Travis Hunter out here.
that's so true. It's funny because I talk about it a little bit. I didn't like football because of that. 'Cause, like,
Really?
we're playing defense, offense. You're on special teams. Bro, I was the punter my freshman year. I think I have the record in Mendota, negative 17 yards. Like the ball went backwards, bro.
Oh, damn.
But I just thought it was like work. And remember, there's some people that like that, right?
Yeah.
And I'll tie that in later to like your guys' wrestling, because wrestling is all about discipline, dedication, And I feel like at the time, and especially when I was growing up, I know you guys are a little bit younger than me, but I think all my class can say like, I had talent, but I was definitely lazy. Did not like to work, right? But we'll talk about that later. We'll get into it. Go ahead and finish.
So Washington Union, I blew my coverage. I lose my starting position.
And this is your 8th grade year.
This is my 8th grade year.
Okay.
Yeah, my first year playing football.
Got it.
And then, but we won the game still. And then now we're gonna go into San Joaquin Memorial, and we're getting ready for San Joaquin Memorial. Starting offense is getting the reps, and they're just mopping the dudes that are on defense because, I mean, they're not giving them any look. So I think one guy from the defensive line, he had missed the day, right? And they were like, we need a body, and I'm just there being a huitado, like I don't even want to practice because I'm not. Why am I gonna practice them? I'm not even gonna play, So I'm throwing a big old bitch fit, and then I can't remember if it was Nick or Frank. I can't remember who, but like, Carlos, just get there. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Right? He grabbed me and he put me on the D line. And I go, well, what do I do? Just go. Like, he just goes like this, just go and like,
Oh, for sure that was Nick.
yeah, just go and like hit and just when the ball snaps, you go. I'm like, all right. So if I remember right, I go on D line, right, and then across from me was Luis Escobar and Chris Figueroa. They were right there, both of them starting O. Y pues, they said down said, huh, right, I'm playing D line. Said, boom, and I take off, right, and I beat the line, and I'm like, well, now what? So the play goes by, and I think someone gets grilled there because they blew a coverage. So that first rep, they're thinking, oh, well, they blew the coverage. Yeah, I quedó, right? And, well, next rep happens, and then I get contact on me, but same deal, right? I said, now what? They're like, oh, well, if you beat the line, we'll go get the guy. Or I just tackle him? Like, yeah, I can tackle him. All right, cool. So, hey, down to go, boom. I beat the dude, and then I get a tackle right off of the exchange. So they're still thinking, hey, someone's messing up here. And then again, third rep, and then boom. And then I just see, I remember Nick just staring at me. And then he goes, you're going to stay there all day. And I'm like, all right, cool. And I'm like, all right, I didn't think much of it. And then starting, the next day we did defense, and then I was in the defensive rotation there. I was like, okay. And, dude, at this time, we're running like a 6-2 D, bro. Six defensive D linemen with 2 linebackers to help. And at the time, our 2 linebackers were Willie Clark and Mauricio Rodriguez. Salt and pepper.
Big guys.
Oh, yeah, no, they were strong. No, but we had the 6-2. They had me at nose tackle on the A gap. And they told me, yeah, you're going to start. And I go, so all I had to do is just hit the line and then tackle him? Like, yeah. And I'm like, all right. But I was a small-ass dude, though.
Yeah, like Rudy.
Yeah.
But I will tell you, that even the year after that is finally when Carlos comes into high school and he's actually lineman. He comes out and he's like, well, I play lineman.
Yeah.
He came out and literally said, oh, I play lineman. And I'm like, what? And so he's actually, his first year, he's actually my backup.
Yeah.
But I took time to actually, I knew he didn't know the fundamentals, I would say. He had the speed, he had the spark, had the tenacity, actually. And I actually put some time in there. I'm going to help this kid get better because, it's rare you see a 120-pound
guy.
Nah, bro, not even. I barely broke 108 with pads.
So seeing a kid that big in the trench, you got to try to help him as much as you can. But I'll tell you this, he had it in him to play that position.
Yeah, my boy, the trench.
Not everybody has it in them to play in the trench. Like
they have that dog in them.
Yeah,
dude,
making contact.
The hog life's where it's at, my boy. Dude, you can't hide the contact there. What helped me was like I was strong. I felt like I was strong for the weight. So then, hey, Simon King, I have like a few good games. I get a sack, and then I get a few sacks, and we go to a freshman year. And it's funny, Beto at the time, my 8th grade year, was still subbing.
You say Coach Mejia, right?
Well, yeah. At the time,
I'm trying to make sure, remember, everyone that's watching,
yeah,
we know who Beto is because we're from Mendota.
Yeah. No, my bad.
Yeah, you're good.
So, and that's a good point because we're gonna touch up on that right now. At the time, I called him Coach Mejia, right? And I barely get to know the guy. Well, yeah, it was Coach Mejia. And it was in Miss Compton's class. He was subbing in. At this time, he was a sub. Now he's a special ed teacher. Y pues, we were like, Christian Reed was like, that's the coach right there. We play football together, right?
I know who Christian is.
He goes, hey, that's the coach right there for high school SGV coach. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And now we're like, class happens and it's a sub day, so we did a little sheet, and then now everyone wants to go heckle him real quick. And it was, I think, Christian Reese, I think Duty might have been in the class too. And they're all like, oh, yeah, we're going to play high school. They're all trying to, like, picking him a little bit.
Yeah.
And like, oh, what position you guys playing? Well, Christian telling him he played corner. And I think Duty told him he played, like, tight end and that stuff. And then I was just there. I wasn't social then. And I was just there because I was like, oh, he's the coach. I want to see what's up. I don't know him.
Yeah, you're filling him out.
Yeah. Y pues, they go, Christian's the one that told him. Christian Reese is like, this Carlos right here, he plays line. And he looked at him. He's like, he looked at me. He made a face, right? And then he goes, "Yeah, right." And then I'm like, "All right, right." And then you know, we'll see next year. You know, well, next year happened, and mind you, Coach Mejia, Coach Beto, I'm gonna be probably bouncing around with that.
No, you're good.
He just his first year as a JV coach, he went. I think he went 9-1 with your freshman group, right? That's you. So he has that thing going for him, and then so the following year, now this is gonna be my freshman year, Tony's sophomore year. Now it's like, okay, can he build off of that record and see where the momentum goes there? Y pues now we're going into my freshman year. Okay, now we're positions. It's all the Hell Week. You know, we're all running. We're doing giants. What did we do then? We did snakes, huh?
Snakes.
We did snakes. And we did the snakes. Y luego 2 weeks. And then, okay, we're going to positions. And, you know, so Tony comes in and then we're like, all right, linemen go with the linemen, receivers, and then blah. And then
I'm not going to lie. I didn't believe him at first either.
I mean, it's really hard. You think about 108 pounds soaking wet with your pads on.
With the pads on, bro.
He was kind of like
ridiculing
us.
No, dude.
Go to your positions and you see probably one of the 5 smallest guys on the team take a jog with us. And I'm like, wait, he's being dead ass.
No, 100%. I loved it. But I'll tell you what, though, I sucked on offense because if it was ever a drill, we're like, hey, you know, the line, you go offense, then defense, and then you're out. And if I had the offensive rep, I'm just giving to do the free rep. I can't block someone 200 plus, dude. I still can't bench the bar if that. You know, I got a small chest. Well, you know, I had the practice with Tony, and then little by little, I was earning my stripes. And then later it wasn't like, oh, you know, he can't play lineman. Then it was like, okay, yeah, that's me. Yeah, I'm a little piglet too.
You turned on the film and he's for his size disruptive, man. It was kind of the only difference is I had a little more size. I was probably the second, third smallest lineman. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't like I was so much bigger, more heavier, you know, a little stronger, but we played really similar, to be honest, you know, because I kind of helped teach him how to play. And we both played with a different speed. That's what really set us apart.
Yeah.
At defensive tackle, to be that fast is very disruptive. So Carlos really knew how to take his speed and use it. It was pretty cool to watch. I'm not gonna lie. That's one of the coolest things to watch is see 100-pound, you know, kid out there flying, making plays too. It's cool.
Yeah, dude. And then I mean, we adopt the mentality too, like, hey, if I picked a double team, right, then okay, I free up Fredo, one of our linebackers or someone, then hey, they get a free lane to the running back or whoever. I go, so picking up a double team wasn't such a bad thing. And for football specifically, you have to approach the game with the goal in mind, like, hey, we're here to win and we're here to accomplish the thing, right? But once Eagles leading the charge, right, and it's like, okay, let me pad up my stats. What can I do so I can go make a sack, right? Dude, the offensive lineman will go 4 years to maybe like what are you gonna get, right? There's nothing on your record. You have to like, if you're in that position, you're there to serve, right? And the better you serve, then you're helping out the dude. Old lineman does a great. Okay, how does that reflect? Your running back has all those yards, or hey, you got enough protection time for your passes. Reflects the same as for D-line too. Sometimes the D-lineman doesn't get through the trench. Cool, but if you picked up 2 guys on that play, you free up a linebacker. Linebacker makes a play, maybe for a tackle for loss, or even better. But, you know, I have
to touch on that real quick, though, Coach, because you kind of threw it out there for me. So now you're kind of giving me an opportunity, right? So, like, this podcast is obviously about, and I want to hear you guys' stories. It's awesome. But when things tie in, this is where I had to come in and, like, use my skill set as a podcaster, right?
Jump in.
Okay, you said that perfectly, to serve, right? So I'm going to bring it back to, like, the word, right, with God, right? And so I think that a lot of people that out there that are pushing the word of God, that are at least trying to do the right thing, they're trying to make sure that, because at the end of the day, what you guys are doing is amazing, man. You guys are helping these kids out, right? You guys are coaching. You're going back into our community. We're all from Mendota. We all grew up the same. Like you said, I'm pretty sure I drank that water just like you guys. I mean, I didn't play football too much because I'm telling you guys, as me as a kid, I was more like a. It's kind of crazy because we'll talk about it later. But I actually wrestled for 2 years for Tony's dad
Yeah.
at the West Side Youth where it all started, where the boxing was at. We used to have the wrestling right there too. And when I say like people that are really out there to serve, and a perfect example, that's why I wanted to tie it in, is like when you're out there doing your work, a lot of times we don't really ask for much, right? And I feel like a lot of people that are truly out there seeking, trying to push God's word, trying to help, they get overlooked, right? There's people that kind of come in and they look at, okay, well, what are you doing for this? What are you doing for that? Most people that want to get glorified or want them to get the recognition, I feel like when you're out there to get it that way, you don't get it, you know?
You won't.
And as far as like what this podcast consists of is, I believe that this is all God, my calling. This is my purpose, bro. I got up this morning. I mean, I texted you guys at what, 5 something? I was already up, bro. I did my workout because I wake up every day now with a purpose. Like, I look forward to doing this, hearing your guys' stories, like getting it out there to the community. Because whoever's seen this out right now, like, the one thing I've learned as in my walk right now, you truly never know what someone's going through. You don't know what they're battling. You don't know what their struggles are. You don't know. And so that's really taught me not to judge nobody, bro. You know, not to, well, this or that. Honestly, because at the end of the day, all I can do for as a follower of Christ is just pray for people. But I liked how you touched on that. That's why I wanted to throw myself in there real fast. But
And just like the Bible verse, you know, like so I have a brother, you know, and he knows, he tells me all the time, you know, like, damn, you know, I wish I had the gift you have. And like, and I tell him it's not so complex. It's not like, I mean, yeah, it's something I do wake up with and have like I'm grateful enough to have this in me, you know, to do what I do. But I tell him it's exactly what you said. It honestly, like, don't get away from that. Doing serving God, doing it for that purpose. I go, honestly, the wins and everything else will come if you're doing it for the sole purpose of knowing that from the heart, from the soul, for God, for the kids. I go, that's honestly, that's the recipe for success, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes success isn't always W's, L's, you know what I mean? But the recipe for success is truly the Bible verse we opened up with, because when you put your heart into it and you're doing it for the kids, for God, for all the right reasons, what you build is almost indestructible. And it's, you know, now with time and coaching for a little while and stuff, is you're able to see that and actually live it, you know, live through it and know that, hey, sometimes it's like, sometimes, you know, you have bad days. You go, you have bad weeks, you know, and you know, it takes a little bit of time, you know, of picking your head up and just getting to work, and then boom, you get to look back and be like, oh, it was all, you know, it was all God's timing on why everything happened.
Thank you, Tony. You just set me up for my second part real quick. So I like to tie in my favorite verse pretty much in every podcast, and now that you just lined it up for me, Isaiah 60:22. So when the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. It all comes back down to timing. We can sit here, right, and want things to go a certain way, want to do this, want to build our programs, want to build our podcast, want to do whatever we're going to do, build our business, right? But at the end of the day, like you just said it perfectly, bro. God's going to know our heart. He's going to know our true intentions. Are we doing it for the right reasons? Are we doing it because we want to glorify ourselves or want to give the glory to God? So I like to tie that verse in because I'm learning right now that it's all God's timing. And when God's timing, he's never off. His timing is always perfect.
Yeah.
So thank you for the little setup.
Test you sometimes.
And the tests come daily.
All the time.
Yeah. No, so go ahead. We'll go back to where you're at. I think we're sophomore year.
Yeah, we're going there. But I'm going to return back to this here.
Yeah.
Because oftentimes, you know, we often debate with ourselves, you know, either with family or we just jog it in our brain the whole time. Like, what the hell am I doing with life? Or is this the right career choice? Am I with the right person? Am I with the right group? Etc. There's this debate. There's a static of you being on the fence, right? And you're wondering, okay, why am I doing this? And I think the thing here is, why does it matter? It's in front of you. Get it done. I go, and when you're gonna do it with your whole thing, right?
Yeah.
Because there's gonna be a few times, like, I'm gonna just take it back just a few years in this time period, right? Where like I'm just throwing the little bitch fit again because I was taken out of a corner, right? But who am I to even like debate it? Who was I, an 8th grader, to say, okay, hey, you know, why does it have to be encapsulating to me, or why is this, why that, why does it matter, right? I got plucked, right? They threw me in the line. Okay, just hit it. just hit it. And there's gonna be more instances, right, where it's like, okay, if it's in front of you, just do it. Okay, so freshman, sophomore year. Okay, so at first, I'm gonna fast forward this, right? 'Cause I don't like to talk about myself. So
Yeah, we still got to go to Coach Tony.
yeah, we gotta fast forward here. So freshman year passes, a undefeated season. Then a sophomore year passes. Beto has his other. Coach Mejia has his other undefeated season. JV, and that was his last JV year. Now he's gonna transition from my sophomore year to my junior year.
And you're going to be a senior.
Tony's going to be Tony's senior year.
And that's Coach Mejia's first varsity year. No?
Yeah. So I'll let Tony talk up on that. And if you need help filling in, then go ahead. But
All right, so go ahead, Tony.
Tony's
Break
senior
it
year.
down for us, not for you.
I started. So football, I started. I want to say it was funny. I grew up wrestling since a kid, 5 years old, man. Like you said, my dad used to coach you, so I was literally a kid in Pampers on the mat since yay high. So I was around wrestling since I was 5. So then I get a little older. I got an uncle out in Kerman, my Uncle Jay. He's like, yeah, you should start playing football. And honestly, I liked watching football. Always grew up like the Raiders.
Is that Chooch?
Yeah, my
Okay.
Uncle Chooch. So,
Shout out Chooch.
So-
He's a vivid watcher, he said.
so he's the one who first introduces football to me.
Okay.
And we don't have peewees in Mendota at the time.
oh, that's right.
I want to
Yeah.
say Kerman had just got peewees in the last couple of years. He's trying to get me to go play peewees over there. It almost happened. Dead ass, it almost happened. So close. Just transportation. It was just going to be too much.
Yeah.
My parents working. It was just going to be too much. So, okay. So the next year, boom, it's my first eligible year for juniors in Mendota. So he's the reason I actually started playing ball. I started playing football. The wrestling helped to turn over. I wouldn't say I didn't. I started off very tough and knew how to work hard already and stuff like that. So transitioned into football pretty well. And one thing about me was I wasn't always the most physically gifted person. And I would say speed, size, strength, a lot, but
you had heart.
that's
You're
probably-
mobile.
Yeah,
you were
I
mobile.
was
Yeah,
quick for my size,
You're hot feet.
but my biggest strength was heart, and how hard I would work. I hate losing. Just period. I hate losing, and I know it's part of the game, but just that's how competitive I am, you know. And as you'll hear right now, so I started playing football, and it's not until like I would say 7th grade year, I'm decent. I'm like a backup guard or something. So then when we get to 8th grade, that's when I finally find my niche. It's doing what nobody wanted to do. They lined up all the linemen when I was in 8th grade, and everybody's like, we need a center. So we don't have a center.
yeah.
And we're like, oh, yeah, well, you're better. Well, you're better. You know, this is now nobody's knocking each other. Everybody's pointing, saying, "Oh, you're the best lineman. You're good." So it ends up I get the most fingers pointed. If anyone's gonna be able to hike and block, it's gonna be Tony.
That's right.
So nobody wanted. It's kind of like that. I became very good at hiking. Actually, to be honest, I kind of like the fact that people, you know, like Carlos was hinting to earlier, you do all the dirty work. Sometimes it's like the only people that know you're good are the other coaches, people watching film. Ain't no girls in the stands. No. Hey,
No, there's not.
You don't have, you had 6 pancakes or something. Like the girls in the stands don't know that.
Yeah.
Unless their dad's a coach and they grew up watching football or something. But
Yeah, very rare.
for the most part,
you ain't getting touched up. They don't care, bro.
so for the most part, you're not getting the glory.
Yeah.
But I grew up doing it after 7th, 8th grade. I grew up doing it, and I fell in love with it, man. And it's crazy. I always get this question, like, because people see me growing up playing so much sports, like, which sport I like the most. And that's probably one of the hardest questions you could ever ask me. I have my journey with football, my journey with wrestling, and it's like yin and yang. They teach, it's 2 different ball fields. It's like football was my escape where I could literally just go crazy. If I had a bad day, there's some people who are going to feel it on the football field. But not opposed to if you had a bad day in wrestling, you still got to be a little bit more composed. That's just what I've learned. It's it's more of a technical battle too. Whereas football, man, I feel like you could just let loose. You let loose, go just shoot. You sometimes you just ask the guy next to you, hey, what do I got to do? All right, cool. That's what I got to go hit. Good, let's go hit him. To where it's a little bit more complex in wrestling, but I mean, damn, I almost like them equally the same, you know. So then we fast forward, like we were talking about earlier about losing.
Mm-hmm.
I hate losing and stuff. So we go my freshman year. DP still the
powerhouse.
They're still
Dude, yeah.
my freshman year was kind of where they started slowly. We were starting to fade away. So
But I think the context of DP needs to be like emphasized here, bro. Like DP,
they were running the
they
whole
ran
website.
it, bro. Like, dude, you
years.
were at the time you would go to DP to get your licks and then go home crying, bro. There was no answer for
Everybody
those
looked
palos.
like they got beat up in that bus. Like,
Dude, yeah.
you got 7 kids. I see
Yeah,
them.
dude,
DP was
they're
a powerhouse. So finally, our freshman year is when we play them.
You're a freshman.
My freshman
Yes.
year, we play them and we lose, right?
A close game.
I think we
Was
lost
that the
by
game
6
one
points.
you said when you guys when that
Yeah,
won?
so-
That one loss.
That one loss was to them, and it was by 6 points.
Wow.
So that was actually a turning point for a lot of athletes I played with.
Was
Gave
the
you
final
guys that-
score 6-0? Was it 6-0?
Or 14-6, something.
Okay,
in
it was
that,
no,
something
it was
in that.
close.
Something in
So
that.
it gave you guys that confidence, like, hey, we can compete with these guys.
Yeah.
Because exactly like Carlos said, they were that you took your licks and you went home. People were looking at us like, wait, do we have something special? Like, hey, these kids went to war with these guys.
Mm.
But it actually, internally, in-house, it changed a lot of the athletes I grew up with. It really, like, it made us hungry. It made us hungry. Like, what we were able to achieve, it came from I didn't take too many losses in high school.
Mhm.
So for context, that loss, I didn't lose another game for almost 2 years
Mm-hmm.
in high school. So
Wow.
we lost that one game. We went 9-1. We go to our sophomore year, my sophomore year. Carlos's freshman year. We go 10-0 with 1 touchdown scored on us. Like we
Yeah,
we
that
really-
was just.
it was
We had a shirt, right? It was like a basic black shirt, Aztec heads, right? And the back had the scoreboard. And had like on the left side, all Mendota scores, right? And on the right side, you had 0, 0, 0, 6, 0, 0, 0, just straight line. And if I remember, Martin Maravilla had a tackle, right? I can't remember the play. Martin Maravilla tackled the guy. And then we were taught the time, hey, you swarmed the dude. You swarmed the dude. I think it was Boobies, right, Omar?
He used to do this. He played like safety in corner, so he'll come down the line and he would do this like Superman tackle. Like he would hop in the air and lunge, like legit, like get a little leap and lunge and just throw his whole body on people. Like I'm telling you, like he was throwing all his whatever it was, 140 pounds on people.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll light some people up, and he'll do it a lot when like a lineman was holding someone.
Yeah.
He'll come clean house like that, and a lot of people after the game would tell us like, "Hey, bro, like you guys play a different type of ball." He's like, "I've never like." One time we played Avenel, and they had one good player, the quarterback. He played everything, so like
Ooh,
not even out of the first quarter, we're picking him up every play, and he just literally tells us, "Hey, bro, can you guys keep me up?" He's like, "I swear to you, I've never." He goes, "I'm taking 5 hits." He goes, "I'm getting hit, initial contact, and I feel 2 or 3 more bodies, and then they hit on the ground." He goes, "Bro, I got a whole season to play." He's like, he legit tells us like, "Hey,
And
can you keep me
Avenel
up?"
was
Out of respect, you know, "Hey, can you keep me up, bro?
Avenel
You guys
was
are
for
beating the
people
shit
deep.
out of me. I'm not gonna make it out of this game." So yeah, we kept him up. You know, he was a baller. He was good, but that loss, I would literally almost 2 years
Mhm.
before I lost again. And what happened was my sophomore year, the center blew his knee, literally the week before the final week, and we have to play ball. So I actually play varsity. The last game of the season, I'm starting center, and we got to come over here to play ball to make the playoffs. And my sophomore year, we win that last game against
What year was this, Tony?
That's 2010.
Okay.
2010. My sophomore year was 2010.
So you guys missed the Josh Allen era too by a little bit.
No, I got a little taste of
Okay.
Josh Allen.
Yeah, he was
We'll get
JV
there,
when
though.
I
Yeah,
was.
yeah. And we'll get there. I didn't want to. I didn't.
He was JV when I was in high school. Um, so I go up and we lose in the semifinals. So that's the first time I lose a football game in high school since my very first football game.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a good journey. And then the next year, my junior year is
Yeah.
that's where I kind of find out this little gift I have of being a leader, and which really translates to the coaching that I do. I find out my junior year because, like I told you, man, I don't like to lose, and it's a little bit different. Like freshman and sophomore year, I felt like I played with my team, but finally when we went junior year, the team above us, they had a lot of starters, so we were kind of like split. We were kind of split,
Yeah.
so my class had maybe 5 guys, they had 6 starters, and it was just like the communication, just it was a little different, you
Yeah.
know. And I knew the guys I grew up with playing with what we wanted and what our goal was, and the older guys, you know, so to say, the seniors.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
When I'm a junior, the seniors and stuff, I don't think they took it as serious as us, and that's where I really had to like learn leadership skills and like, cause I wasn't gonna sit back, and it was a journey, you know. That's fun. From not losing the game for a couple of years, and then you go here, and now we're like the middle of the season, we're like 5-3, you know, 5-4, something like that. Towards the end of the season, it was a learning lesson, you know. But it really showed me that, hey, I'm a natural born leader. Like that's what I learned there. Like
Yeah, and then to
Especially being
give some
an
flowers to you,
underclassman.
Tony. To give some flowers to you, Tony. And if you remember back in high school, I gave you flowers then, right? But I'm gonna do it again.
Okay. Okay.
That's the Tony, right? We had these commitment meetings every Thursday with Coach Mejia's football team every Thursday before a game, and you know he'll do the little pump up speech, right? Like, oh yeah, this is the game plan. This is why, and he'll just kind of get us going. And at the end of his right, he opens the floor to his coaches. They don't say nothing. And then after the coaches, he opens it up to the players. He's like, "Does anyone else, want to say anything?" And every week, Tone Dog right here
Oh shoot. Okay.
has something to say. Right? It was either like, something really articulate, right, or something real quick. But I always told Tony then, I go, whatever shit you would say, dude, it would fire me up, bro. But who knows? This is all, in retrospect. We're all looking back at it now, right? Because now we're coaches, right? But Tony every week was the only guy, only senior, and only dude in that team that wanted to say something, right? And this is his senior year going into it, and every week always says something. And I was like, that's the little fire that I
Just for
need.
clarity for the viewers, what year was your senior year?
2012.
2012. Okay, got it.
But it's the 2011.
Yeah, the 2011 was a little rough year.
Yeah, that's when you were 5-4.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it was learning, learning to be like, hey, even though I'm the underclassman, so to say, it's like I knew how bad I worked for what I wanted and how bad I wanted it,
Yeah.
And like building off of what Carlos just said is I made it a point to always say something before we left on Thursdays.
Yes.
Because at the end of the day, I don't know if it's just natural. That's my team.
No,
Like I make
Tony
sure
fired
what
up.
I'm telling you on that Thursday is if you don't want it as bad as me, it's okay. Like it's fine. But you're not gonna strap up and stand side by side with me. If you're gonna stand side by side with me on the football field on that Thursday, I'm gonna make sure like you have the same mission in mind as I do. So take it. You got 35, 40 kids standing shoulder to shoulder on the sideline, and they hear that the day before. It's like it's more in a literal sense, like, hey, like I know you're a kid and you kind of use language that's very but I mean, I would literally say shit like, if you're not willing to die for the guy next to you, man, it's cool. Take your shoulder pads off, kick back, go grab a hot dog in the stands. This isn't for you. It's not built. You're not built for this. You know what I mean? Type of stuff. But that's just really.
Dang, bro, you're getting me chills. I'm
That's
pumped
just
up.
really how much I love the game, man.
For sure.
It's real. It was nothing more than that. It's just it's something I love. I grew to just love doing.
These are little embers,
Yeah.
in time, right? And it will let us go. Take us through how my junior year went and your senior year went going into those battles, right? And mind you, those battles at the time was just a force, and teams at the time, you pull up to DP and some of them already lose.
Yeah, they're defeated already before they get off the bus.
Yeah, because dude, they got like, oh, DP, they're like stacked. They got 30 dudes and this and that, and you know, it's just these local schools. You got Mendota, Fireball, Tranquility, but take us to right. You know, you don't gotta be specifically to the score right, but you know more or less how it went going into DP, and then give us a taste of how DP went if you remember it.
It was. I mean, my senior year is always gonna be a different retrospect. It's just I was going through a lot, just in the fact that I got hurt. It's that was the tough thing. But I mean, I was there all the time, and it was just like.
What do you mean you got hurt? What happened?
I tore my meniscus.
Your senior year or your junior year?
My senior year.
Senior year.
Oh shoot! So you didn't play at all your senior year?
You had no.
I
You were
played
gonna
one game.
Yeah.
Played with I played one game against Fresno Christian, and we put up like 70 something. Like we put up 70 something. Next game, literally first drive of the game, I have new cleats and they grabbed the turf real good, and I turn and I have this knee brace, and my legs kind of locked in place, and the top of my leg turned, and the bottom of my leg stood planted in the grass, so it tore my meniscus.
Oh shoot!
And the meniscus, I know some people be like, "Ah, bro, you know you can play through a meniscus tear." Style football I played, I couldn't. Coach Jose Reyes was the one who told me, man, like, yeah, I know how much you love to play, but the style you play, you cannot come back on this field. As a coach, I'm not going to let you come back on this field. It's because I would rehab. Like, it wasn't one of those things where you're immobile. I could walk, could jog, but the way I played was fast.
Yeah.
I would literally catch sprints on the football field and try to put a body on somebody. And when I was running full speed, my knee would lock. Now it literally looked like I was diving into a pool. Boom. I would lose my footing and fall onto the ground. So ultimately, I couldn't play.
What sucked then is that we were exposed to a lot less help then. You know, this is before the ESPN documentary. So you know, now we have two trainers. Shout out to Simran and Marquez Navarro. But like a kid gets hurt, like it's meniscus, right? You know, then like you get a knee injury, you're like, oh well, the season's done, bro. Like turn in your gear. But now it's like, okay, what's our timeline? How far can we get, and can we get you game ready even by within a week if we do the right workouts? You know, so that's something that was new to me after our time in high school. So Tony gets hurt, but you still roll along with it.
Yeah, I'm still there. I'm there all the time.
Because every week giving us.
You're at every practice.
Like, I know Carlos is asking about DP, but not in so much like it is like, but I already knew we were going over there. And
You felt it. Like what was coming, what transcended those 2 years, right? Going into his senior year, my junior year, we worked too hard for anything to be less of, you know? But we kept it. Game by game. And after every ass kicking we gave, that Monday we came back, 0-0. It did not matter, bro. What happened back when, it stayed there. We're not going to live there, dude. No way. We're on to the next thing. And the best thing about it is this group, right? Senior, junior, we were just bought in. There's no excuses, no. We had the 2 years, right? Freshman, sophomore year, where we're just undefeated. This is us. And then senior year, junior year, we're like, okay, can we repeat it? Why not? So now we're taking it game by game. Fresno Christian, we give them the beat down. And then, few weeks there. And then Tony the whole time just, giving us the speeches, keeping us, hey, he's hurt, but he's still keeping us fired up.
And that, honestly, I don't think a lot of, I'm to myself, man. A lot of people didn't understand how hard it was. Probably my family members, couple close friends, they didn't understand how hard it was. But I mean,
how hard it was not to be on the field.
Yeah, like how hard it,
or just in general, like the whole
general,
injury.
the whole situation. Okay. Like I had to, I worked for this since I was a kid. You know what I mean? Like just in the literal sense, I worked for it. And the last year, the sweet moment. The moment where like people are gonna know who you are, and that's rare as a lineman. And then that's the thing. Nobody will ever know who I am, and I'm good at that. I can live on that. You know what I mean? But people who saw me play, coach could tell you people who were in the room with me, like they knew, and even with all the emotion I was going through, man, I was broke, man. I was like, it's. I would have time just sitting in my room, like after school, like, and then some people like, it was just so different. The fact that some people thought like I couldn't go to practice, man.
Mm.
That was like putting myself through hell.
Mm.
Like I couldn't watch it. Like I couldn't watch it, and knowing that I can't.
It's hard.
You can't
No,
help. You
it's
can't
not.
contribute.
I would just get so frustrated. Like I got all this taken away from me. It wasn't my choice. I got all this taken away from me, and it was a lot to. I mean, I know it sounds weird, but I mean,
No, it really doesn't.
it was all I've ever worked for, so it was hard. It was hard, but I wasn't going like it was my duty. It was my job. Like I knew I was a leader. I knew how people moved when I spoke, so it was still my job to go make sure everybody was ready to play. And I'll take it back to not the DP game, but the Liberty game, Madera Ranchos. It's like I think it was early in the season too. I think it was like third,
And
fourth game. And
Liberty Mendota Ranchos stacked team too. Yeah, this was our third or fourth game, and then this year we also played Fowler. No,
that year,
I think
No,
so.
don't think we-
There was a team. Well, the Liberty. This is a good point that you brought up Liberty because they're in division. We're Division 4 then.
So that year they won the championship in the division above us.
2,
In 5.
4. They're in D4.
So he said division above you guys. So
We were
D5
D6 then.
prior.
6. So
We're
they were
D6
five. I
then.
think. They were 5 or 4. I think
They were
they were
4.
5.
I think they were 4. I put money on him, bro. They
Yeah,
were 4.
but
We'll fact check. We'll fact check it later.
so when we go and play them, oh man, that one was brutal, man. Like I literally wanted to take somebody's pads and pants at halftime and throw them on. Like it was a dogfight. Like the beginning of the game, I think is like
Yeah.
6-0. We're losing, which is rare. That was rare. Like and I even remember Coach Cardenas. Shout out Coach Carr. He's like,
shout out.
and we have a real good relationship.
Mhm.
Like football wise, like as an athlete, when your coach trusts you, when he doesn't. You know what I mean? I'm on the sideline and coach, I can see coach a little like, dang, nothing's working, or you know what I mean? And I'm watching and I'm like, hey, honestly, it's gonna be a trench war. Like, he wants to stop running the ball. I heard him. He wants to stop running the ball. I go, nah, the way you're gonna win this ball game is we're gonna have to run the ball. Like we're gonna have to take it to him. 3-2. I go, they're bringing house. They're bringing everybody. They're bringing everybody. Like they're bringing 9. You look at tape. They're putting 10 guys in the box. I go, but the thing is we're just gonna run at him 3-4 yards.
Power all the way.
So I tell him call timeout. I get the line and I literally just tell him like, and it was a lot of the pain. Like I know those are your brothers. They're looking at me and I like literally pull them to the side and tell them, like, ah man, you don't know how frustrating this is. Like if I could, I would take your helmet and go in there and play. But I go, you guys got to do me a favor. You guys got to go out there, play for me, play for everybody right here. And after that, it turns around. We end up we start getting 2-3 yards, but we wore them out. We wore them down.
Yeah.
And they were big. Compared to us, they were big. Compared to us as a team, they were big. And we wore them down. We wore them down, and we ended up winning, I think, by like 2-3 touchdowns. We just tore them up in the last quarter. We just put it on them.
Mm-hmm.
And that one right there was, that game right there was a lot more emotional-wise. It was a roller coaster. That one was. And we ended up beating them. And so after that, the other games, it was crazy. Like he said, we had to have the mentality that we were 0-0 because I'm going to be honest, my opinion, this is just my opinion, from looking at all the games. The little towns, tough town, I think it was a Rosie. I think it was a Rosie that year. A Rosie probably gave us our hardest game, and they were probably the smallest school we played.
Was that when we scuffled?
They came, and this is the thing, they came and they wanted to beat us, bro. That was the thing. They came with grit. That was all that kept them in the game. Like,
just heart,
because skill-wise, we were better, And both ends of the ball, they were in there fighting.
I think we beat them up too. Huh?
Yeah, and then they were scrapping. And then at the end of the game, but I would say for at least 3 quarters, they were in there scrapping, giving. And I was like, that's when we knew, like, it's not going to get easier every week. It's going to get harder. Once you're over 500, everybody wants to be over 5 games. Everybody wants to be that team. They didn't even care anymore about winning. I mean, playoffs, a championship, and then they wanted to. That year, they wanted to be the team to beat Mendota. They can say whatever they want, but everybody we played, they didn't care. We went down to Tranquility, had another tough game. They weren't that good that year either, but you could tell they were playing to be the people to say we beat Mendota. So that was one thing I really realized that time. I was like, dang, that's a long journey. So then that was kind of just the end of my athletic career. Well, no, sorry, scratch that. I have to. So like he said, we don't have as much resources. So I don't get an MRI until there's probably like 2 weeks left in the season. So I get an MRI and get told I need to have surgery. So I've been chilling for the whole season. I literally go and wrestle the week before surgery because you don't have to sprint while you're wrestling. That's the only reason. That's the only reason I couldn't play football. I couldn't sprint, and I played fast. So I wrestle, brace up my knee. I wrestle, and literally 2 weeks after that, I'm in surgery. Come out, I get like 2 recovery weeks. I start training on week 3, and I was competing again within a month.
For wrestling?
For wrestling, yeah.
Wow.
That was my senior year. I mean, and that's the thing. You can't blame nothing on anything, you know what I mean? But I think I could have made it to state that year. My injury halted a lot of extra that I could do, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was one match away from qualifying for state. And I think a big mistake I kind of regret is just not ever trying to walk on and play somewhere. It's just on paper I didn't look good. You know what I mean? I had no stats my senior year, undersized. You know, but that was one thing I think I had all the tangibles. I should have at least tried to walk on somewhere, hills, somewhere.
Yeah.
You know, that's one thing I don't like to say regret, but I mean it's one thing I always look back on like, hey, I should have just tried it.
Yeah.
You know, what's the worst that could happen? Hey, you didn't make the team. You know.
Yeah. No, so you kind of like the way he set it up earlier, I wanted to let you kind of finish, but so kind of going back, right? Going back to your injury, going back to you saying that you would be in the room and you were going through it and you were going through stuff that kind of talks about what we talked about. You never know what someone's going through, right? You never know really anything, right? You just don't know the mindset. You don't, because no one knows you. Like you said, maybe family, maybe really like your close friends, not even your teammates, right? Is that when you kind of knew, like, hey, I could be a coach? Coaching is what's your kind of like your calling, because it sounds like you have that gift, bro. Like you were doing it kind of, you know. He said your junior year and then your senior year. If you think about it, by you getting hurt, all you could really do. You said you told the coach to call a timeout.
Okay, yeah, like
So
I mean,
that's funny because
it did prep me.
I
Like,
said
looking back at it now, yeah, but at the moment I didn't.
Yeah,
I was prepping myself.
That's why I'm saying, as you're telling me, I'm like, bro, that kind of sounds like, and then I'm gonna tie it back into the Lord. And most kids, cause this right here, and now I'm kind of like, okay, as we're talking about the podcast, and don't get me wrong, like I want to come in and I want to throw that, but I'm really like, I'm just asking Lord, like just allow it, because because it's really like it's setting it up. You're setting this up for, I think, to be like really, really, really great podcast. Not only like for all the kids that are gonna watch it, right? Everyone that's battling through adversity, going through something, because they could hear the stories, right? And not only that, I think when we do tie it back into your guys' coaching, you can see the passion, bro. You can't fake passion. You can't fake heart. Like, you're gonna talk about it. So all I want to say is, when you're in the room, bro, like if you can, obviously, the best way that you want to describe, because obviously, you know, like what are the thoughts going through your mind? Like what is the fact that you're battling? Like, do you feel like? And then we're tied back into the Lord. Like, I know your parents, you know, they're followers, right?
Yeah.
So in that moment, like, do you feel like you're asking yourself why? I mean, obviously, I think you are. Everyone's like, why this, why that? But like, how did you, you know? Can you walk us through what you're going through and like pretty much what got you through those days? You know. The best that you can. Obviously, I know you were in high school, but
my family, like really just my family, like where I come from, and just knowing there's more on the other side, you know, like they just always reassured. Like, I mean, and that's one thing too, you know, like I'm not very, I mean, unless I want to be, you know, if I know I got to release the emotion or something, but I'm really believer in like, you got to be able to handle your own emotions as a man, you know, first.
For sure.
Because it's unhealthy if you can't. But at the same time, you got to be able to accept that, hey, I need some help. I need to maybe talk to somebody, you know what I mean? So it's just kind of where I came from, man. They always reassured, you know, there's as much as I loved what I did, there's something on the other side for you. You're going through that for a reason. Like we talked about, God has His time, and God has His time, and I went through all that. Who knows, to prep me to be where I'm at today and
That's all I can tell you right now.
doing what I'm doing today. If I don't think I would be as battle tested if I didn't go through what I went through.
Yeah.
And honestly, literally the year after, and it was in this. See, it wasn't out of like, oh, I'm gonna do this because I got hurt, or because it was literally. That's how much I loved
No,
the
yeah.
game. That's how much. Next year I was coaching. I was coaching at 18 years old, on and off. At 18 though, I was coaching Cobra football. I was the first coaching gig I ever got was helping Coach Fredo Murataya, Coach Pee-wees, I believe. I believe it was
Juniors?
Pee-wees.
No,
No,
I'm sorry.
yeah,
I'm sorry.
it was Pee-wees.
Pee-wees.
And that's just kind of where my coaching journey began. And it was kind of weird because we're 18 and I'm talking about Coach Fredo, the father. So we're kind of limited. Like he's the head coach. We're learning. We're getting mentored a little bit. And sometimes I just want to grab the reins and take control. But it's just a nature. It's not saying, "Oh, I could do it better than you." It's just the nature. The leadership is just it's almost natural, bro. It's almost natural.
Yeah.
It's almost natural.
And I want to give a shout out, RIP, to Coach Murataya, a legend right there. I always helped out football, and yeah, I always hear great things. I remember, like I said, kind of growing up, I didn't like getting hit, bro. I tell you right now, football wasn't for me. I grew up. It's kind of weird how we grew up. We all grew up differently, but I grew up in Bunny Heights, but then on the east side as well, and I just didn't like to get hit. But then I realized after you get hit, and you go get over that fear, it's like it's not as bad, And then I used to like to hit people, but then I'm gonna be honest, I was just so lazy. I wasn't ready. I wasn't prepared, and I just didn't like the work because, like you said, we had to go both ways. You're gonna play offense. You're gonna play defense. You're gonna be special teams, and I just thought this is like a job, But we'll touch back on how you were saying. But yeah, you're 18 and
I'm 18.
Under a legend, so you kind of like
So that's just where the coaching journey begins.
Yeah,
that's just the beginning of it, and it's good to be mentored by him and. Like having great coaches growing up. Coach Nick, shout out Coach Nick, man. Honestly,
Nick and Mike Daniel.
The reason I could say I also approach the coaching game how I do is a lot due to Nick Daniel.
Okay.
The brotherhood, the family aspect, the tough love, the super tough love.
Tough.
He loved you though, man. At the end of the day, man, seeing that guy to now, man, I light up, man. I don't care if he's across the gas station. I'll holler at him. Like, that's just the respect,
That's
the
amazing.
utmost respect,
Yes, sir.
Like, honestly, one of my goals, I always tell, like, my brother and them, they know that. Shoot, one day I'm coach alongside him. By with him would be a dream. I don't know if it'll ever happen, but that'll be a dream to be able to coach football. Pop Warner, I don't care what it is, alongside Coach Nick would be a dream, man.
There you go.
It's just something I'd always wanted to do, And he's one of the reasons, it's not so much. It's just a gift that it just landed in you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just the people I grew up around. My father, Coach Nick, Coach Mejia. I try to look at them and what they did and take the best aspects from each of them and blend it in one. And that's maybe why people could say I do my job the way I do it.
Yeah.
It's a blend of all the people who helped me grow.
That's it's kind of crazy, bro. We're all from Mendota, right? And so I'm gonna tie this into how when I was in law enforcement, I became a corporal, and that was like my number one thing I would tell all my trainees, like, you don't want to be Corporal Gonzalez. You want to pick what you like from me, pick what you like from Coach Carlos, pick what you like from Coach Tony, pick what you like from this coach, or in this sense, officer, and then eventually make yourself. Because I felt like with me, I wasn't necessarily a hands-on guy unless I had to, right? But I was more of a talker, And God always He gives us our purpose and our thing. And I could tell you right now, like I said, it's going to tie in later when we talk about your guys' coaching. But we all have that unique skill. You kind of have the ability to motivate, right? I think coaching, everybody has that unique skill, right? And training, same thing. Coaching, training, teaching. And it's kind of wild how you guys say that because I can't say for other towns. I can only speak for Mendota. That's where I grew up. But it's kind of crazy to see that even though you guys are younger than me, you just said it. Everything that I would teach and train, and it's crazy because you graduated 2012, bro. You're 6 years younger than me, but yet you still have the same qualities as me. Same thing with you.
And it's
because
environment.
because we
Sometimes
grew up.
it's environment,
Yeah.
And that's honestly another reason why. It's funny, my mom sent me a flyer, and I know she coming from the best, wanted me to, you know, uh, look for a path, always trying to be better and stuff.
Yeah.
But it was at another school district,
Mm.
and I was like, apologies to me. I kind of got a lot of pride. I got a lot of pride in what I do, and I was like, I can't just up and leave what we built. Not I, what we built. Me and Coach Carlos, what we built. Like it's like, what are you saying? I told my mom, what are you sending me this for? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's gonna get done here. It's gonna get done.
Was it like another coaching position or something?
Yeah. Oh, it was a list of everything: bus drivers, coaches, whatever. But specifically coaching.
Work tied in.
Yeah,
but in another school district.
Yeah, okay. And I was just like, I kind of took a little offense, and then I sat and thought about it, and I apologized, and I just took offense though because the amount of work I try to put in,
Yeah.
And I go, I understand you wanting. It was a bigger school and everything, but I just told her like, whether you believe right now or you don't, that's not gonna change the work I'm putting in, and I'm not gonna just leave this for a couple more dollars or something like that. Like, nah, man, it's the pleasure of being able to impact kids that seen what you seen or something that I seen a friend go through growing up. It's the same environment, like it's just a different kid. It's almost the same story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a pleasure to be able to help kids and that it's easier to kind of relate to them.
I was gonna
Makes
say
the
that
job
right now.
a little easier.
I think with us being in Mendota, bro, like and it's kind of crazy because I'm gonna tie it back into that. And that's once again about the podcast, right? So, and I'm gonna tie it back into the Lord and to talk about faith and talk about purpose, right? When I was in corrections and I left the sheriff department, bro, that was the hardest decision I ever made. Because at the time that was my identity. 10 plus years, that's my career. That's what I did, right? And then when I left, I took some time off, and I was always planning on going back, And I remember like when I found God, and I'm gonna shout him out, Coach Junior Reyes.
Really?
He and the crazy part about me and Junior is like we grew up together, bro. Like Tito's been my best friend since we were fourth graders. Tito Verduzco, shout out. And I would go to his block, bro, and we would play sports. And Reyes lived on the same block. My buddy Jesse.
That little area then, huh?
Yeah, we all hung out. And like I said, I kind of grew up on both sides. I grew up on the Bunny Heights with my grandparents, and then when my parents when they were together, I lived on the east side. So it was like different spots. So we always hung out. I always knew Junior from we were first graders, bro. We grew up all the way through. And the craziest, the way me and Junior tie back into each other now is we were friends, right? And then he got saved when he was 18. And then he just came at us crazy, like, hey, you need to find God. You need to, and we're all like,
he
bro.
still has that.
I mean, no, but in a way, he's not as pushy no more. Because remember, God is a gentleman, bro.
Yeah.
God will knock, and if you let him in, he's gonna come in.
Yes.
And I could tell you this right now: when Junior was the first coming to it, he was really aggressive, especially with his friends and his family. Like he just wanted you to get saved.
It's fired up.
At the time, remember, it's all God's timing. I wasn't ready, and it's wild how we talk about it now because we host Bible studies every Wednesday night here. So you guys are always welcome to come if you guys ever have time. And we talk about it, right? And so I'm going through my moment where I don't think anybody realized I was struggling this bad. This is 2022, bro. December of 22, I leave the sheriff department. Like I said, the identity, everything. As a man, as a father, as a provider, everything, right? I just feel like broken, lost. I don't even want to do it no more, bro. I'm to the point.
You don't even know if you're making the right decision.
I don't even know if I'm making the right decision, bro. It's crazy because I could tell you like this. Even the craziest part is it's most times it's either your close friends or your family. And I had got word that there was a rumor that, I got fired in there because I was like taking stuff in, right? And that kind of like hurt me because if anything, I ended up getting in trouble trying to figure out possibly a dirty officer, And long story short, I was so in my sin, my addiction, the way Louis Gonzalez used to be, and people knew me a certain way. So I looked back at it and I was like, kind of like you cry wolf for so long, right? And then everyone's like, well, that's just how Louis is, bro. And I remember telling God, like, I was like done, like almost to the point where, like I said, and I'm saying it on this podcast because we're kind of talking, and I feel like it's gonna push into it later. But for all these kids in Mendota and just in general, anybody, I was like, that's it, I'm done. I don't want to live no more, right? And then I told God, if you're real, come now. And I remember 2023, I was so bad in my addiction, bro. And we go to a Super Bowl party. This is the crazy part about Junior Reyes. Well, little Christian Reyes marries my wife's sister, right? So then we go to Visalia to go to the Super Bowl party. Well, guess who I see there? Junior Reyes.
Yeah.
And I took a 12-pack, I have a lot of money on the game, right? And I go back, bro, and Junior just meets me in the back, and we start talking. And he's like, hey, you should come to a Bible study. I do a Bible study. And I go, what is that? And remember, I don't know God like that. I didn't grow up in a church. I don't know. And so he's like, hey, I do it at your primo's house, right across from my dad's house. So I'm like, it's kind of like aligning, and I'm, I'll consider it, And we go through our time. I'm drinking, going through the time. I ended up winning that night, right? So I'm all pumped up still, like later. And I go to the first Bible study. We do in the book of John, right? So I start learning, and it's crazy because I'm so hurt, I'm so broken still. And through the first chapter, I just felt God talking to me. And then from there, that's when it kind of like took off, right? And as time, Junior's kind of like, I know he's younger than me, but he's always been like my spiritual mentor. And that's why I want to give him his flowers right now. Because in time, like, it's crazy how God works, bro. That's why my favorite verse is Isaiah 60:22, because you just never know, right? Who's going to come in, who's going to save you, who's going to do this. And then as you kind of go through it, I'm going to skip a little bit because it's not about me. I'm just going to jump all the way to where I thought I was going to end up in Mendota as a teacher, bro.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, but I'm telling you, I knew I wasn't going to get the teaching position because my prayer was different.
Yeah.
I knew that the Lord was blessing me. Talking about purpose, right? I ended up getting a job at Good Guys. I was a store manager, bro. I got blessed. I knew nothing about cars, nothing about nothing. But the money, dude, I made more money there than I could have ever imagined as a CO, And I was killing it. But I woke up every day empty, bro. Like, no purpose. Because I don't like cars, I was meeting people, but I didn't like it. I was going from 7:30 to 6, and I felt like it was just no purpose. And fast forward, and this all has a point to this. When I took a leap of faith to go on this podcast, it's because I could just feel it, bro. Like, God called me to do this. And like I said, this morning I woke up. I texted you guys what time? It was like 5:15, right? Got up, bro. I did my workout, came in. I'm so pumped up for this thing. Like, when I throw the headphones on, when I see the mic come on, when I see the lights come on, it's game time, bro. It's the way you motivate, and you did your speeches on Thursdays. I'm literally, bro, as God was giving it to me, I could feel that. That's how I am with the podcast. And it doesn't matter if I have Mendota Wrestling, if I have Coach Moreno, if I have whoever I have on, bro. I'm so pumped up to hear the story and then to tie it into how God's going to do it. But I just wanted to let you guys know that. Like, that's what I'm saying. People out there viewing this is like, you just never know, bro. You never know who's going to come in to do what or how it's going to happen. You just got to, at the end of the day, just trust the Lord, and it's his timing. And when you do that, you don't have to be, I remember, we all grew up together. You can't, I mean, I can't really say you, Carlos, because I don't know. I didn't really, barely knew who you were. But
yeah, we bumped into each other.
And then the crazy part is I have a story about you, too, when I first talked to you at the park. Oh, and I remember, like, I was still kind of figuring out if I was going to be the teacher or not. And this guy was like, bro, you need to do your podcast. He's like, you haven't even talked once about the teaching position.
100%.
He's like, all you kept talking about was your podcast. And like I told you, I kind of had an idea I wasn't going to get it because my prayer when I told the Lord was like this. I said, Lord, like, you've already blessed me. Like, I could feel the podcast taking off already, right? And that's what I would talk about to people. That's what I was already envisioning myself as a podcaster. And look it, bro. I still wear Mendota. I'm a Mendota boy, bro. I'll never not support Mendota and anything,
Got the Mendota jersey.
And I know people who say this too about a lot of Mendota people. It's like,
Coach Clark got
where does the pride come from? Like, they, like, in a sense that, like, you guys have so little but are so prideful. It's like, I've heard people say it, like, what are you guys so proud of? And it's just like being there, making it out. Not, I mean, we're still there, some of us. No. But being able to come from something like that and make something of yourself.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, that's where the pride, like, a lot of, and that's the thing, you won't understand on the outside looking in. And exactly what you just said is exactly why we're here today, and why I do what I do is it was God's calling. Like I told you, so to tie into what you're saying, back to what I said, I started at 18, on and off, going through, my trials, my tribulations. And then I was at a point where my brother and Yoshi were actually coaching wrestling together.
Yoshi.
And my brother's watched me grow my whole life.
Martin Games, by the way, his brother. Yeah. Shout out.
My brother Dean, he tells me, bro, why aren't you coaching? Like, bro, it's like, it's you, bro, it's you. Like, and I'm just like, yeah, money. I gotta get more financially stable. You know,
Coaching doesn't pay the bills.
I gotta do this or whatever. And it's funny that Coach Carlos just said that coaching don't pay the bills, right? I was doing a job where they paid my rent and I was living in Clovis, but I was empty, man. I was empty. And this was always, and take it, you know, just a little. I was working for a guy who ran a marijuana company.
Okay.
And I was always growing up, you could ask my parents, oh, it's a dream. Yeah, I'm going to work with marijuana. It's a dream. I did it. I did what I said was my dream as a kid, and I was so empty. And like you said, exactly what you said, this was my calling. I would not, Carlos wouldn't have came up to me the day he came up to me to ask me if I wanted my position as junior high head coach if it wasn't for God. Positive of that. I don't.
Funny how that works, huh?
I don't make the money I make for coaching is nothing near close. I'll blow that in a month. Just put it that way.
Yeah.
But I wake up with my soul full. I wake up with intentions to be better. I wake up loving what I do, man. The money and that I gotta go fix that on my own over here.
Yeah.
But I had to learn that the hard way, you know.
And I could
God,
tell you, like,
God wouldn't put you through that if He didn't know you. It was part of the journey, part of His journey. And honestly, it's the reason I coach is because I was chasing money and saying, nah, I can't coach right now. You know, I'm not financially stable enough. And my brother would be like, bro, F the money, bro. This right here. And it's crazy, you know, that I'm full. I could say I'm full right now. Like, I'm in where I'm at in life, you know. I mean, I know there's better, but I mean, where I'm at right now, I'm content. I'm happy, you know, with my career, you know. I'm a newly licensed barber, so that and all that. And that all came.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And that all came after wrestling.
I could say this real quick on his barber. He actually gave me a haircut before the Detective Joseph Amador, and shout out to Detective Amador for coming on from Mendota, and he gave me the haircut before that interview, bro, and I really appreciate it because you did it at 7 a.m. And I know it was rough for you because you're like, hey, bro, I just want to sleep, and I was like, I really appreciate you, but that just at the end of the day, that's how like Mendota people are, bro. Like at the end of the day, like we're all from somewhere, and I think we all have each other's back. It's like it's kind of in a way like if you see a Mendota person somewhere, it's like you're always gonna just do the.
Yeah.
You know, because,
and you may not even know their name. You just know their face.
You just know they're from Mendo.
It's a fun fact, too, right? Once upon a time, I used to have this luscious curls, bro.
Oh, okay.
I had hair for days, my boy.
There you go.
I had hairs to my shoulder that looked like my nah. And, well, life happens.
Yes,
you
sir.
You got 2 hereditary genes, as I was told, and, something about testosterone levels and blah, blah, blah. There's things in your blood that's going to make you bald, right? That's what I'm being told.
Okay.
To make me feel better.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm this is December of last year, and my hairline's cooked, bro. My hairline's cooked. I'm like, okay, you know what? I have a good hair day. It doesn't look too bad, but nah, bro. I start sweating in that wrestling room, and there's shine, bro. But your top of your head's not supposed to shine when you soon have hair, right?
Yeah.
So the fun fact, right? We're talking about cuts, right?
Yeah.
So December, I'm like, hey, Tony, you're gonna have to put me bald, bro. You're gonna be the first one to give me that pit bull fade. I need the razor. All right, bet. Well, when you want to do it? And I was like tugging about it, right, dude. And mind you, my hairline was whack. You could see scalp. And my boss, Robbie Levet, right? Quick shout out to Robbie.
Okay, shout out Robbie.
That's the president. He goes, shave it already, bro. Stop being around the bush. You look so much better. You got the head shape and all that. And I'm like, there I go, crying about it. But then I was like, you know what, Tony? I go, you're going to give me the fade, bro. You're going to shave me up. And we just did practice. And I was like, this was Wednesday. And I go, when Tony comes in, we're grouped together still. And then he goes, I tell him, I think we're warming up. And I go, hey, Tony, today's going to be the day. For today? He's like, yeah, today. Like, well, and I go, where can you do it? Let's go. We'll go to my house. I was like, all right, cool. So then freaking practice concludes, and we pull up. Yeah, Ibarra, you gave
I'm
me
not gonna lie, it was cutthroat.
Oh, you nicked me
It
a few
was like,
times.
yeah, and it's not so much on the skill. It's when you shave somebody's head, you got to do something called a hot tail.
It felt good.
And well, we didn't really do it. Like
A1
we didn't
service.
have all the material we needed.
Yeah.
It's like a little oven, and you wet these towels with warm water, and you put them in there, and they get to a temperature to where they start steaming. You pull them out, you lather the head. It's a process, whatever.
You
I didn't have
microwaved it
any of
up.
that. All I was using was shaving gel. And shaving gel, to let you know, shaving gel is like a gel you put on your cheeks just to shave your cheeks.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not going to do a whole head. It's not going to open the follicle enough to you where you get a comfortable shave. And Carlos took it like a man, cutthroat.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah.
A couple nicks the next day, you know.
I took it like a champ.
But
There
I
you
was
go.
like,
I cry when he sprayed the alcohol.
so when I do get those materials, I'll have Carlos back for a real shave. You know?
Oh, there you go.
That was my last haircut, December, and I haven't looked back since, dude. I was like,
I saw you
what?
post something the other day.
The what?
For Barber Dimas, you're like primo.
It's always those memes. It's like, oh, when your hairline's getting cooked and your barber knows, and I always send them those, and I'd be like, hey, bro, I miss you. He's like, I miss you too, buddy. He's like, what you doing, bicho? I was like thinking about growing some hair back. I was like, nah, dude. I was gonna do the
The hair transplant.
yeah, and then my dumb ass, I bought a house. I was like, nah, that's not gonna happen.
I mean, the house is gonna be at the end of the day be more beneficial.
No. Give me my hair.
And I mean, you could rock the. I went bald. I went bald last year.
Yeah, but you got options. Bro.
Oh man, terrible. If I ever lose my hair, man, I'm done. I'm wearing hats every day.
Your dad still has a lot of hair, no?
Oh yeah, my
Speaking of hats, you guys got some inside the Paolu hats, bro. So you could just,
I know
sport
I
out
can't hide it now.
but I
let it
lost
shine.
so I shaved it, razor shave, and
You did it when you were young too, no?
I think that was because I got something stuck in my hair or something.
Oh, that's what it was.
But this one was
Recently
I lost
you
a
went
bet.
shave. Yeah.
Bro, I got so many rows on my head. It's terrible. It looks like you can see my brain. It's at least you know you look decent with
You look cool, but you look like Brock Lesnar.
All right, so now kind of like now everyone kind of has an idea about who you guys are. They see the passion. They know we're from Mendota. So we're gonna jump into the wrestling questions real fast, you know?
If we can I use the restroom? Is that
Yeah,
all
go ahead.
right? Okay. I don't know if you need to pause or anything.
If anything, we'll try to edit the best we can.
BRB.
Yeah, because I think we'll just run it through, and then we could always take a little intermission, or I could use it for like a little break, and then I could just tell the guy to edit it the best he can, you know?
edit that little clip out.
Yeah, because right now we're kind of like we're going through a transition. So like I said, it's been a blessing, bro. Like the guy in Fresno, he'll do all the recording for me, but he's like so busy he can't edit. But you know, like I said, part of my team, we just kind of we're getting a new editor, and this guy's supposed to be like
Legit?
really good. Yeah, like he runs West Hill's social media team.
Oh, okay.
So I haven't had him edit any of my stuff yet, but I was telling you, like at home, because to me this is inside the pod with Lou, bro. Like I'm me here. Like when I'm in the studio, like I'm getting more comfortable there, but it's not me. You know, it's not.
A little too Hollywood.
Yeah, it's a little too just like what you know. Like today I was gonna wear like season 1. I wore Uggs, you know, and I wear shorts and the thing is I'm home. I want to be as comfortable as possible when you're home, right?
I was even thinking right now too, like, damn, it's gonna be hot out there. When we leave, I don't want to be in pants. And I was like, it's a wrestling podcast, bro. I gotta, as long as I look like I'm ready to wrestle, I'm good, you know.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Nah.
Sorry about that. Got a bladder of a fat. We did a 2 clap. All right.
We're good. Like I told him, we could always do like a little intermission. I'll have the guy edit it.
All right.
All right, so like I said, we kind of got to know each other a little bit, and I think the people get to know you guys a little bit. But we'll talk about the first question. Then I guess getting into it is, when did you take over the program?
That's for me, huh?
So I mean, pretty much,
So-
yeah. Because just to say, you were the varsity head
Yes.
wrestling coach
and
in
then
high school.
And then I called Tony up that same year. But I guess how the whole timeline works, right? 2013, 2014, when I started coaching, I did nothing but football. So I helped out Beto, Coach Bihia, like my first 2-3 years. And I've been coaching straight out of high school. 2013, now 2025. So I got like 12, 13 years.
Oh, shoot.
But football.
You're a veteran.
Yeah, football, I wouldn't say veteran.
Top 13 years as a veteran.
You think so?
Yeah. Anything over 10 years, bro.
I guess I'm comparing like to Coach George and Mag. It's like, man, those dudes been doing it for a lifetime.
No, those are OGs. Those are legends.
Yeah,
You're a veteran. You're building it.
Those are guys you try to mimic, man.
Yeah.
Those are two legends that are in their respectful fields, man. That's who you want to be like, you know?
And so football was my better sport. And I was like, hey, I had more, I guess, because I had more success. I wanted to do it more.
Yeah.
And what got me into wrestling was actually my cousin. I still stay active. I still helped out with wrestling here and there. But I didn't pick up another wrestling position as an assistant coach until my cousin, Adam Quintanar, the same group of cousins that told me to either do football and wrestling my 8th grade year. So this guy,
shout out Cones.
Shout out Cones.
Good teammate. Wrestled with them in high school.
Shout out. So my primo Adam's like, hey, there's an opening for the junior high position. This is like 6 years ago.
Okay.
I want to say, right?
So 2019.
Yeah, about. He goes, hey, I want to take on the head coaching spot, but I need help, like, with practice structure and, like, you know, doing the outreach to the kids. And I know, hey, you already got years coaching football, and you can help me with recruitment, and you can just help me with practice, and I know you know how to wrestle, so we can work well. And like, yeah, let's do it. Let's run it. And then we had a small team, dude. At this time, Yosh was head coach for varsity, I think. Still. Yeah, Coach Joshua Perez. We call him Yosh.
Yeah. Shout out
Yoshi. So he's the varsity head coach for wrestling then.
And at the high school?
High school, yes. Shoot. But so I become an assistant coach that year. You know, we had a small team, but we were still competitive. The following year, my cousin goes, "Hey, I'm not gonna do this shit." He goes, I'm gonna do this no more. He goes, work's gonna take me away from here, the Central Valley, and I think he ended up in Sacramento for like the next 4 or 5 years, so he couldn't even be here unless on the weekend, so he couldn't do it. So there comes the opportunity again, right? It's like, well, this is gonna come back too. It's do I answer the call or I let the phone ring, right? The thing about it, whether you decide or not, it's gonna keep ringing. It's gonna keep ringing. So it's gonna be a point where you're gonna decide, hey, you gotta be annoyed with the ring, or you gotta do something about it, right? But you leave it alone, it's gonna keep ringing, and life's gonna keep ringing at us sometimes. And sometimes we just gotta answer the phone and be like, okay, I'll take the spot. Let's do it. And I'm nervous as hell because I've been for Pee Wee's. I did the head coaching spot, right? But wrestling, man, like wrestling, I was okay. I was athletic, but I wouldn't say I was really like technique savvy. I knew like, hey, as far as like strength and conditioning goes, right? But I myself was like, I need to know more wrestling IQ, more like just fundamental stuff. As far as fighting and all that goes, that I understand, like the fight psychology, that like the boxing that carried on with this for wrestling as well. But I needed to know more about wrestling. My first year, my numbers grew. So this is my first year junior high, and then my numbers grew, and you know, the kids were there. Now I'm feeding Yosh more of these kids, right? And they stayed in the program. Right, if I got like 15 kids in and 8 of them stayed and run it out, then you know his numbers are growing. Whereas before, he was getting them fresh out of high school, and then they will get into wrestling. Hey, high schools were their first years. I did junior high. Hey, they come in junior high and they get 2-3 years, then they go high school, and then now the program's starting to grow. We go fast forward a few years, and then. My better year as junior high head coach was the year before COVID, and well, no one here knew we were going to get shut down. Y pues that year, I had a group of kids that I was coaching for 2 years now. So I started that first year as a head coach. I had a small group of kids who were 6th graders, and mind you, middle school you can start from 6th, 7th, and 8th. So I had a small group of kids that I had there, and then this was my cash out year. You know, this is these were like my sophomores that I had for 2 years, and now they're seniors, right? But in this respect, they were 6th graders, gonna be 8th graders. So I'm like, okay, this is the group. And now not only do I have the kids that wrestled for me for 2 years, but they got their buddies who also, hey, they weren't necessarily like wrestling savvy, but they were athletic, and they came on board. Hey, they want to do wrestling. They want to be a part of something. And then that same structure that we kind of grew up with for me from what I got with from Coach Mejia,
Yeah.
the steak and potatoes I got from him, and I'll tell him that, but not to his face though, because I'm a pro hater. So it's the steak and potatoes I got from him. I follow kind of the same structure, and like how nitpick the good stuff.
Yeah.
And so I got it from him, and then so that year, hey, 0-0, right? You win, you just keep it 0-0, and you stay to it. But now every kid's like, okay, bought in. Now, not only do I have kids like, hey, like from my starting lineup that want to ball out, but even the kids that are like, hey, they're not necessarily wrestling right on the matches, but hey, they go into practice and there's a purpose. It's like, hey, if I can't, it's not so self-centered on me. If I can at least work out and make the other guy better, then we're all winning. So, we had the league tournament here in Fireball, and it's a close match, right? And, a week, the tournament was, I think, the first week of March. A week before January, March. The last few weeks of the mid-February, right, I had these two athletes who were in my lineup, Josiah Beltran and Daniel. They were both my starting wrestlers, right, both undefeated in the league. So going into the league tournament, they would have been a big factor for this tournament. So their caregiver, their grandpa, passes away. And the grandma tells me, hey, Coach, I'm sorry to break it to you, but we might miss the tournament because of the funeral, right? And we reschedule it. The scheduling fell on the week of the tournament.
Yeah.
And I had to claim who was going to represent that weight class, like on a Friday, right? So if anything happened else, right, then I couldn't be able to change it. So Wednesday's the tournament. The Friday before, I claim all my rosters, and I had to pull the two boys out because they weren't able to wrestle. Come Monday, the grandma goes, oh, well, we got it extended. Can we get them in? I was like, I can't. The roster's set. So wherever kids are going to wrestle, we're going to ball out with them. So I lose two starters, but some of the kids that were filling in second string were ready for their time to shine. And it's a close one, dude. So going into it, it's like, okay, I'm losing all my duels. I don't care, bro. I don't care less about the duels, right? Can we ball out in the tournament? Because there's no 6-point forfeit just for showing up. It's if we're getting points by beating the other kid and etc. You pin them, that's 16 points, right? You're not gonna get your forfeits no more. You can't score up your thing. Now it's like, hey, Kate, who's got the better kids, right? Now I tell the kids that this is our time to shine, right? Because on those duels, yeah, we're losing. We're giving up 3 or 4, 20 something points. We're off the rip because we don't have a 78 or 80 pounder or one kid at 40, right? So we're just giving up free points. But tournament, you can't hide them. Now this tournament, balling out, kids are tight matches. The kids who they lost, right, and they had like a so-so record. They were beating the guys that were beating them in the regular season, right? So we're just a few points away, and they're reading out the scores, and then there was the last two teams, right? I think what was it? Madeira was there. And then they were reading out the scores, and then by a margin of 2 points, right, they said we got second place. And then, in that year, Fireball took it, and they beat us by 2 points. And I sit back and I'm like, man, you start thinking, what could I do different? Or maybe if the kids if I would have just kept them on the roster, not knowing if they're going to play or not. And you start second guessing yourself. I was starting second guessing myself instead of just being like, you know what? It's all right. They still got second place, and we have a good picture, right? And I like looking back at it because those group of kids, right? I coached them for Pop Warner for Cobras. I did them for wrestling. We got that 1 year we got shut down, and then I got to see them recently graduate high school.
Nice,
right? And I had I had a group before that, but this is the group I coached the longest. Who for me, I unintentionally ended up coaching. I didn't like, okay, most coaches go, oh, I'm gonna follow a group, right? I know,
Yeah.
I'm sure you heard of that. I unintentionally, life took me to them. For what purpose, we don't know, right? But at the end of the day, we're not gonna dance around, hey, the what is or why, why not? It's in front of me. Let's get it done. So March, right? We take the second place. We shut down, and then we have the underground years, and I'm sure if I don't know if like you had these other coaches come in, like Coach George or anyone else, but you can, these wrestlers that wrestle year round, they want their mat time, they want the exposure, they want to keep their tools sharp, but you
like
can't.
underground fight club. You
Yeah.
can't. Yeah. Uh, so we're supposed to be quarantined. So all tournaments are canceled till you're notified. There's no. All you can do is you're not even supposed to. All you can do is train.
Yeah.
And then, so this was also the birth of the wrestling club, who what happened to be my state qualifier Brian Reese's first year.
Okay.
This was his seventh year, something like that, and we kept the club, and then it had its ups days and down days, but that was the birth of it. Was COVID. COVID gave birth to that, and I took that on. Then the following year, my career was pulling me, giving me more, asking more attention from me, and then I came to the impasse where like I don't think I can coach full time. Was the thing, I couldn't coach full time, and this was my last year as a junior high head coach, right? Where I have my cousin Jason come on, and I kind of like burdened him the team, but I just didn't know my schedule. So at this time, I was a head operations for Chef's Fear Pit right there in Mendota, and it's just I'm putting in 12-hour days. Even on a bad day, I'm doing 11, right? So I get out, it's like, school's already out for 2 hours, right? And I can't have the kids come in at 6 and then have another 2-3 hour practice. I have a schedule that I set, and I also need to follow, right? But quick shout out to my cousin Jason Figueroa. He stepped in the days that I couldn't fill in, right? And it was only to like towards the end. But I was honest with him too. I go, hey, this is gonna be a year where like you're gonna have run some practices by yourself and maybe some matches by yourself. And then I had an honest moment with myself. It's like, okay, in this relationship with coaching, if I can't give it my 100%, let me give it to respect and pass this on to someone else, right? So at this point, I feel like I'm leaving it now. As far as full time, I'm still helping Yosh,
Yeah.
right? And also I help out Beto with like little things, right, if he needs it. But this was my last junior high year.
And what year is this?
This was, man, 20. We got 2 years, right?
Yeah.
And then it was what, 4 years ago?
So 2021.
About, yeah. We can fact check on Instagram. I know what team was what. So let's just say 2021. That was my last year as a junior high head coach. I still told Josh, hey, I can still help out. I can roll with the kids' assistant, and Jason's gonna do it next year. I'll just help. I'll coach him up as far as like the coaching things go, as far as coordinating it, and then you'll have me in the room. I can work with a small group, whatever. I can still be involved. I did 1 year of that, which was probably like my least dedicated year as far as coaching in general, because I was giving a lot of respect to my career, and then what's not paying my bills, I'm not gonna give its attention.
Yeah.
I still felt good because I was still involved, right? I did enough, but I was like, you know what, this job is really like, it's just killing me. I go, why am I compromising with myself and giving myself options? Why can't I have both? Why not? What's stopping me from doing it? And then the encapsulating thing, the solution for me was, okay, let's elevate the career. What else is out there? And then I left Chest Fresh, not on the best notes. I had a fight with the boss, whatever. But I had another boss who's 100% community. Hey, I want to give back, and I can help. And he respected my my dedication to coaching.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, hey, Carlos, I go, if you ever want to come back and just, help me with managing, I'll take you on whenever you want. And that was the phone ringing in December. No le contesté. And then we go back we fast forward a summer of that year. And then I leave Chefs like in November. And then the phone's still ringing. Right. But I'm not in the room where it's ringing. So I don't know, hey, if it's still ringing for me or not.
Yeah.
If it's still ringing for me. So I happen to bump into him. I leave. Okay, here's the story. I leave Chefs, right? Bad terms, right? I got in the fight with the boss. Chale. I left. Mm-hmm. I live in Fireball, right? I live out in the cuts. So for any of you guys, everyone here, right? If they're here locally in Central Valley, they know, hey, once you drive like fields, you just see fields. And sometimes you're in some parts where it's just dead and you only see people who live in the area. Okay. So I live in a little small neighborhood, but I was outside of Fireball, right? That's why I won't claim Fireball. No, I'm just playing.
It's all good. I'm telling you right now, I got a lot of heat from the Mendota homies. Like, how you gonna go live in Fireball? I was like,
really?
Yeah, it's all
who
good.
Who cares, bro? That's the old head mentality. But anyways, that's it. So I leave, right, and I drive home back to the cuts, and then I get to an intersection right before I'm about to turn my house. Right, I haven't seen not one car, right, because I left like in the middle of the workday, and I haven't seen one car. So I get on a stop sign here, and across from me, I see a big black, like a Dodge Ram, and I'm like, that looks familiar. I go, that truck really looks familiar, and it was hauling a big black trailer with the company symbol on the side of it, BIR, Branding Iron Ranchers, and I'm like, shit. I go, is that Art? Is that Art? And so I pull up, I stop, and he's coming. He pulls up, he stopped, and we make eye contact with each other. And he goes, this gives me one of those, right? Like the Mendota nod.
Hey, the Mendota nod.
So I'm like, hey, what the hell? And then, so I, instead of turning to my house, right, I drive forward, right? I'm going to go answer this phone. So, he pulls down his window. He's like, what the hell are you doing here? I go, I live out here. He's like, right on. He goes, and I go, I had my last check right there beside me, and I waved at him like this. He goes, what the F is that? I go, it's my last check. No shit. He's like, yeah. And I tell him, well, when can I start? This was on a Wednesday. He goes, I'll see you Thursday. We'll talk about it. But I'll see you Thursday. We can start Thursday. I'm like, all right. So I answer that phone. And I've been there since. Now I've been there for 3 months. 3 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 3 years. I'm going on 3 years. I'll hit 3 years in November. But Art always worked with me as far as coaching. If I had to take a few days to do like a 2-day tournament, some tournaments fall on Fridays and they carry on to Saturday, all for it, right? And you go, anything I needed regarding that, he would help me out. So I get comfortable with Branding Iron Ranchers, and they work with me as far as like how's my schedule gonna go, and I'm like, well, shoot, I go, I can get back into the room. But this was coming off of the year where I was an assistant coach, and it just so happens to be Yosh's last year as a head varsity coach, and he rumored it at the end of the season. Tony's not in the picture yet. He rumored it at the end of the season. Hey, this might be my last year, because he was like just tired of everything, and also to that he had to take care of his aunts, right? And that was gonna take up like the later half of his day. Y pues, he had 2 other coaches. He had one coach that ran the practices, was Coach Acosta, who's also in corrections.
Okay.
And then Coach Tamayo, those were the 2 dudes. Carlos Tamayo were the 2 dudes. And my assumption was, okay, if he's going to leave, those are going to be the 2 guys. Well, it just so happens Acosta took up that year was when his career was calling him. Okay, that's where he's going to go full time. He doesn't know, hey, if he can make the drive from, I think it was Fresno to here, and how often he's going to do it. But he might trickle into the room. So that's telling me, okay, that's one day or so. And then Tamayo was like, yeah, I'm good. I'm whole game. I'll be there full time come December, right? But none of the two guys wanted the head coaching position, and me, I'm much less me because I don't feel like I was ready to just take it on, right? Because I have coaching experience, but I felt like, hey, the wrestling IQ for me wasn't there. And I still feel like it's not. I still feel like I need to learn as far as coaching and then as wrestling specifically. But hey, now I get the call from Yosh, another phone call, and it's the same thing again, right? Now I got a call when I was in junior high for the junior high head coaching position. Now I get the call from Yosh for the head coaching position. He's like, "Do you want it or not?" Right? Because here's the messed up part, right? And whether it was good or bad, who knows? But he goes, because if I didn't accept the position, the program dies.
Oh shoot.
There wasn't going to be a head coach. Tamaya didn't want it. Acosta didn't want it. They just couldn't do it.
COVID kind of did its number.
Yeah.
On just in the whole perspective as a program for wrestling, COVID did its number. Because Carlos, I remember when Carlos had built, they were pretty good in middle school.
Yeah.
And then while the last person was a kid who qualified for state last year, Brian Reese.
Is he still there or is he graduated?
He graduated.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's attending UC Merced now.
Nice.
And that was the last of those kids. So when COVID hit, it was just so rocky that the kids who were wrestling already were putting in the time, but we weren't really even having sign-ups, or like nobody was really creating a foundation for the next kids to come.
Yeah.
So that's kind of where Carlos is at when he gets hired.
And so, I gave it some thought, and I'm like, man, I go work will let me. They'll work with me. And I just said, F it, let's do it. Because at the time too, right now, man, this goes back to the group. So that my first year, right, happened to be Jaden Silva. Jaden Silva's kind of like my godson, right? But we're Christian, but the godson thing, like, no one's gonna get like, oh, the whole baptism thing and whatever, right? But I was there when he got baptized.
Yeah.
Right, when he was born again, and for Jaden as well, right? He's part of that group that I'm telling you about, where I first became a Pee-wee head coach, where I first became a junior high head coach and now he was also part of the group where I was my first years as a wrestling head coach, right?
Yeah. So
weird how that works.
He kind of just followed you the whole time.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Right? God's plan, right?
And God's timing.
Y pues, and I'm like, in the back of my head, like, I want this kid. Jaden's a good kid. I go, part of it was, okay, I'll bite the bullet, right, with air quotes, because I like coaching, and we'll just run it. I don't know what I was getting into. I don't know like how the room was or how the kids were returning. What kind of habits are instilled. I don't know, but what I do know is that we were gonna kick some ass, regardless. Whether the only moveset I knew were it's like double legs and outside, right, and there's a whole plethora of moves, right. Regardless, we're gonna have Mendota style. We're going to have always forward. And the motto for the team is going to be siempre adelante. Because we're always marching, always marching. We're not going to stay slumped, right? But the kids have to buy into that as well. So Jaden Silva's senior year, right? I take up the head coaching position, and I have a small team. But, like, it's the same thing, right? I tell the kids, look, don't get slumped about losing these duels, right? I care about how far you guys get into, like, your individual records, and into the postseason for wrestling.
Yeah.
Right. Because the cool thing about wrestling is, you don't need the whole team to get to the next stage. Right. One kid could be the baller and he can go all the way to state, depending on how much he wants to put into it. That's the beautiful thing about wrestling and individual sports is you get what you put in. Right. The more time you put in, the more you get out. And that first year, I still remember the first 2 weeks were rough, bro. They're rough. Because now I'm getting the steak and potatoes championship mentality that I got from Beto. And I'm trying to incorporate it in a room where dudes. I get mad even thinking about it. Dudes feel like they can just show up whatever time they want.
Yeah. They're
And
not
that
really bought in at this point.
aggravated me.
Mm.
But again, I go, you have to address that issue from the rip.
Mm-hmm.
And I told a few juniors and seniors, I go, bro, I don't need, like your attendance here has no influence over me. Okay, you either want to be part of this or not. But I'm letting you know, in this room, you got to be here on time, and on time's early, right? But see, if I see the bad habits, right, dudes coming in late and they're dragging ass, and then they have a bad attitude, that just fires me up too. I had to let them know, right? Because if I let those habits, creep, then that's what I'm building for the next few years, right? So I set the structure. I tell these kids, okay, well, now we're a different team. There's more energy, and throughout the whole time, I'm hearing whispers. Because Jaden's family, my brothers and sisters, like through Christ, right? Justin, the dad, and Maritza. I've been coaching. They have 7 kids, bro. So I coached the whole family already, but one kid. They would always we always just coach and we'll give each other feedback. Maritza was always tough on me though. She would tell me, if there's anything, she'll let me know. But as far as that first year wrestling though, she'll tell me, no, the kids feel like there's more energy, that we're the structure, and then that like there's a purpose now. Like, hey, and I had a rough patch. I had kids who like, hey, the AD would tell me, no, he got busted for marijuana or he's vaping, and that's a whole separation in itself, right?
Yeah.
But
That's another podcast right there alone.
Yeah, for real. Yes, they would tell me, no, he's trouble. He's no good. I got dudes counting him out, and the freaking kid hasn't even been a week in my room. I was like, let me figure out if he's worth the headache or not. Because at the end of the day, if they're committed to me and they're committed to the team, and most importantly, they're committed to themselves, that's all that matters, right? Who gives a shit what anybody else says?
Yeah.
Who cares, bro? Who cares? What do you want to do? Where do you want to head? Because the trajectory is today. I'll tell them the story about my sleeve tattoo, right? Because this is when the eye popping moment was for me, my sophomore year, high school year, right? And this is a reflection of that. But we'll put that to the side.
Yeah.
So I'll tell them, I'll go, you guys, some of you guys here in this room think, life's going to figure out like tomorrow or later. And this is fired up, right? I'm simmered right here. Pero I told them, it's today. Life changes today. If you want it to, right? If you're like, I'll take out the trash tomorrow, blah, blah, blah. Well, shit, that trash is going to stink, bro. And what's crazy is you're not going to smell it. Someone else is going to smell it. And if you have the right people in your house, they'll tell you, hey, throw away the trash, bro. It stinks. But if you're in a bad community, and my room has trash and your room also has trash, then the whole house stinks. It's all rotten on the core. Then how are you going to know what's better if better hasn't come to you? Right? So mind you, I come from the head operations where like things are like this, we're structured and things are going because there's $1 million machines and we got to meet orders.
Yeah.
Right. So I got 2 hours to practice. We got to practice. So all this dead time, you guys want to chop the shit and talk to each other? No, bro, we got to get to work. Right. This is what we're looking to do. This is what's going to get done. And then, okay, cool. And now the kids, like, they feel like, hey, I don't know if it was because me being me invested. They're like, all right, cool. And then, mind you, Brian Reese, the state qualifier we're talking about, this is his junior year. His sophomore year, he took off because he did not like he didn't like the vibe or the feel of the room, right? But his junior year, he heard that I was gonna be head coach. He's like, all right, I'm in, And Coach Juanito Ledesma, who also coached football, kind of pushed him in that direction as well. And we had a few kids. I think Jaden, mind you, this is also the year where the girls wrestling team took off too, and so not only was I head coach in the boys varsity team, I also was the head coach for the girls varsity team as well. But mind you, my girl team was like 3 or 4. Still, 3 or 4 dedicated girls. You get 1 dedicated coach out of me, right? And my first group was Mia Hernandez, Anna Hernandez, Jolie, and Dalia Peña. Those were my 4 girls. And then I had my small guys. And then going back to like at the latter of the year, Jaden went all the way to Masters. Brian also went all the way to Masters. And then I had Mia Hernandez, first year wrestling varsity. First year wrestling anything. But mind you, Mia grew up in my church too, so we knew of each other, right? She knew of me. But she wanted to do wrestling her senior year, of all things. But the girl kicked ass, man. And I don't know what it is. Girl wrestling pumps me up because when the girl dials in, it's like, that's cool, bro. Because, I think, between us, it's like in our nature to be, be slightly aggressive and fight. So when I see a girl, dialed in and she wants to fight, that's cool, bro.
They're scrappy.
Scrappy, bro.
Yeah.
Tony, on the way over here, Tony and I were talking about 2 of our girl wrestlers, right, who were last year. And I told them, hey, you 2 girls, like, if you write it out, you guys going to leave the room. It was Mia Hernandez. So we had 2 Mias. There's Big Mia and Little Mia. They have the same first name, different middle names. But Big Mia, right, wrestled first. Little Mia, right now, she's a sophomore, going to be a junior. So Little Mia is currently in our room right now, right? Okay. And then apart from her, we have Jimena Barajas, who was also like, they wrestled last year too, who we project they're going to leave the room and they're going to kick ass this year as well. But, yeah, see, and then so this is year 3. Going back to year 1, you had the few kids. We had Jaden and Brian Masters and Mia Masters. And Mia was like 2 wins away from going to state. Brian was 1 win away. And this could be a touchy subject. I don't care. I'm gonna say it, right? But in some cases, right? I feel like when you're this could be in other sports too, but there's some home cooking involved. Sometimes, like, hey, you might, like, you're pinning a guy, right? And it's just boom, the pin's done, right? Other times you're pinning a dude, and it'll be like it'll be a lifetime before the ref calls it, right? And then you
hear people in the stands.
You'll hear it, bro. If it's bad enough, you'll hear it. But to the quick thing, right? You get a guy pinned, you get the shoulders down, boom, they're pinned, right? But it's up to the ref's interpretation and to what he sees, and a lot of the rules tailored for the refs for their protection. I get it, but that kind of enables some refs with bad intentions to abuse it if they wanted to. Not saying they all do.
Yeah.
But it opens that door, right? So going back to Brian's last match, he has against it. This is just Mendota all the way, bro. So it's just us masters, right? It's just Brian Reese and I. We're walking to our corner, right? Because we're in the hole. We're like 2 matches away, and we're walking to our designated mat area, and just me and Brian. And then we know we had a kid from Clovis. I forget his name, but it was from Clovis. And then we see him in the blue jacket, right? And Lord and behold, you see the Clovis kid, and you also see the Clovis coaching. He had like 5-6 dudes behind him, right? Different resources. But me and Brian's got had the same mentality too, right? That in itself fires it up too, because now we're the small school with X amount of resources and this and that, right? And now we're going up against
Brian will be called small.
Yeah, and
the
then
only time.
Yeah, dude,
he's a big boy. Oh, okay.
He's a big boy, bro. 265. Yes, but we're like, hell, dude, we gotta give it to this dude. And it was close. Brian tossed him, and I will always say, hey, he had him pinned. I'm always gonna say it, but ref didn't call it. All right, whatever. He still had 2 rounds to wrestle back. Brian gassed out. He ends up getting pinned. End of his junior year. But the sparks there were 1 match away, right? And he came off of a break. So, like, all right, we're all right. The second year, year 2, actually staying on year 1, before the postseason, I gave Tony the call sometime in December. And you were still getting your barber license, right? Something around those lines.
I was coaching
football.
Pop Warner. I was so I had just came back to coaching. Period. I was coaching Mighty Mites.
Okay.
And Mighty Mites don't have a playoff season. Like Mighty Mites don't have playoff season, and Pop Warner had started this thing like where they after regular season and postseason, they have a 2 division playoff bracket. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like they give another championship trophy basically.
Mhm.
So top six teams or whatever it is, 6, 8. Excuse me. Top 6 or 8 teams they go Division 1. Bottom 6, bottom 8 they go Division 2. So we end up not having enough coaches.
Yeah.
Like so they have to. So the junior team is legit that year. The junior team's in the race for the Division 1 championship, and the seniors and juniors were coached by the same coaches.
Mm-hmm.
So I get a call from Justin Silva telling me that they need me to fill in because the way it happens is depending on rankings or whatever, that determines where you play.
Mm-hmm.
So it ends up happening that I think each game was played in a different location. I believe, yeah. So they stuck with the juniors just because seniors were in Division 2. They stuck with juniors. They were Division 1. So they were in the race for the real championship. So I get a call. He tells me to help out with the seniors. So I end up, and this all ties into wrestling actually.
Yeah, no.
So I go and I help them with the seniors and take it. The seniors were they caught their spark. I feel like they were barely getting in the wheel moving. They end up playing real strong at the end, so they make it to I believe the Division 2 championship. So they end up making it to the championship for the Division 2 when I take over.
On Pop Warner?
Pop Warner.
Oh, shoot.
So they only won a couple games, but honestly they were good enough. The moment I saw they had potential was I was coaching Mighty Mites. I think we were out in DP, and they got into a slugfest with DP. I mean, they were just running the ball back and forth. Boom. Kid by they call him AP. Anthony Perez. He actually wrestled for me my first year.
I was ready to say Adam Placencia.
Anthony Perez, man, he's a hell of a running back. And dude, him and the running back from DP, they're just going back and forth. They're just running the ball down each other's throats. And man, I don't know if I don't think I'm being biased though, man, because I'm flipping out in the stands. So DP actually ends up in the Division 1 championship.
Oh, shoot.
Mendota loses to them during the season by 2 points or a point. But
in football?
But the game should have been over off a bad call from the ref. The ref just wanted to go home, bro. I'm yelling at the ref. Hey, bro, like you can't take this from kids that work their ass off like this. That's booty, man.
BS, yeah.
Let the game determine who it's gonna be. You know, it's your job. It's what you signed up for. And the call I felt was just to get him out of there. Like, let's get out of here, because it was getting rowdy, man. The refs were before. I think it went to in the last quarter, but from the beginning of the last quarter, man, it was going crazy on both. The refs weren't doing a great job. They're hearing it on both sides. You could tell they wanted to get out of there, bro. Literally, when the game was over, they bounced. I saw them. They get into a little group. They literally, boom, they didn't even get into a group. You see them all walk the same direction off the field. They're getting out. They kind of knew, it was a little messed up call, but I'm gonna give DP their flowers. They were good. But that's when I realized, hey, this team got a lot of talent. Just got to put it together, So that's the team I end up taking over. We make it to the championship. And then, so sometime during that time, Carlos hits me up. And so, going back to what he was talking about, how with Brian and Jaden and them, they're about to head out the door, though. So I'm looking at it when he calls me, and he tells me, and I'm just like, I'm doing this football, I'm finishing up with barber school. So I'm really like, oh, dang. Like, I don't know if I'm...
Your concern was like, hey, when's the season start, right? And like, when do we normally start? And usually for junior high, we're like the team that get them going in December. and you were like,
it was more on how long it was
yeah,
because I was able to take like a leave from school, but the leave was only a certain amount of days.
mm-hmm.
Like I couldn't go a day over that. If I went a day over that, I would have to start all over.
Oh shoot.
So that's where I had to get the whole timeline correct, and we kind of it was lit. I'm not even lying.
And I told Tony too. I go, Tony, if I gotta coach another extra hour or two, you know, for a little while for the kids, it's all good, bro. Take care of yourself first. It's all right, you know. And then I think what January came around and you were.
It ended up aligning. Like literally,
Yeah.
I actually finished season, took an extra week and a half off, and I went back to school because I had an extra like 6-7 days. So I take that week and a half off. I end up back in school right after season finish up. So what happens is when Carlos calls me though, I just have a lot on my plate, and I'm just like, oh dang, I don't know if this is too much too soon. Like I'm literally back in the door of coaching. I don't know if it's too much too soon. So I go home though, and then I'm looking at it like, okay, you know, he got a couple of those juniors and seniors, but when you look back at it, I'm asking the kids. So I kind of, when Carlos takes off, I start asking them like who wrestled, like, and then you got the kids raising their hands, and then like half of them saying they didn't even finish the season, and I was like, damn. So basically, when I went home and I did the math and I did it all together, besides his last 2 kids on his group, the program within itself, and I say program is like school teams is one thing, but when you have a wrestling program, wrestling is kind of like the off season is now.
Mm-hmm.
So like the off season is ending now. Most people will get back to training right now. Summer is kind of no off season, but summer is where you kind of could take it slow. But most people are training. Like most elite wrestlers, they're training. They're getting their work in. But so I go home and I look at it, and there's literally, besides the upperclassmen, there's 2 kids. One of those kids is being a senior this year, Byron Mejia.
Yeah.
And then one being a kid in the future going to coach his 8th grade year. So it's him and Jose. Those are the only 2 kids I hear about that are wrestling after school season. They're the only 2 wrestlers, and I was just like, and then Carlos tells me, you know, like if we don't do this, wrestling within itself is going to cease to exist in Mendota. And that's when it hit home. That's when I like sat back and I'm home. I'm doing the numbers. I'm thinking about it as like, damn, my dad was a part of this building. My uncle was my high school
Wrestling
coach.
royalty here.
It's like it was you know, it's like it's a little more personal when you start thinking about it like that. It's like, you know what I mean? When my dad like did it, you know, he could have easily just said, I got a family to take care of. I don't got to come out here. You know what I mean?
100%.
Then when I look at it, I'm like, besides just my family, just on my own terms, like I think I wrestled way earlier than I played football. I was like, I've been putting in work for this sport, and it's not one of the most popular sports in America. In the world, it's more popular. Like in the world, around the world, globally, it's a lot more popular than we would say in America. You know, you got baseball, you got football. They're 100 times more popular. So it's like I had put too much work into just being the factors or being one of the factors that can determine where this goes. That was where a lot of my decision lied. Like I didn't even, when I started thinking into it, I was like, I didn't even care. Like kind of, I was like, I'm not going to just, if I have the ability to do something, I'm going to step in and I'm going to do it. My family, myself, I've put too much work into this sport. Just alone, you know, just alone, the sport alone. And it's like, you know, when you hear Mendota, you're going to hear my last name, you know?
Yeah, no, I was going to say, I'm just going to give your family their flowers real quick. So shout out to, you know, Coach Martin Gamis. You know, he coached freestyle when I was there, right? And I felt like that. I learned a lot. I didn't like it because I was lazy back then. But look at me now, I'm 37 years old, bro. A lot of that work ethic that you see, you pick it up later when you're ready, when you're mature. Shout out Coach Joe Gamis. You know, he was he's still the PE teacher out there, right? Legend, you know, pup, you know. And so, or what's the other one? What's up, Fats?
Yeah.
Right. So I just want to give them a shout out. And look at, and now you got your brother was still doing it too, and now you got you. So the Gamis legacy is living on in Mendota Wrestling. And it's just good to see. It's good to hear,
It
right?
better, man. It gotta live for a
and
long time.
That's exactly what it came to. Like, damn, I'm gonna let the legacy die. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
nah, it wasn't gonna happen on my time, you
And-
know. So I think it literally took a couple hours, and I was like, even though I don't know what it's gonna look like on the other side, and I don't know, you know, like we'll find out when we get there, but it's not gonna die here. So I ended up calling Carlos back and saying, all right, I'm in, I'm bought in, you know, just.
Call me back real quick.
And so this, and just so we tie it in back to the viewers that are watching, this is in 2022, 2021.
24.
This is
Right.
Okay, so
right.
this is you're in
year
year
one. We're talking about year one.
Okay, no, but when you called him, this is year 3 then?
No, we all started year one together.
Okay, so this is 2020. What year did you take over? This
So when
2021?
he calls, it's 2023.
2023.
Mine will, yeah, but it'll. For me, my season starts January, so it was the season of 2024. It was his 2023
Oh, okay.
season. You get what I'm
Got it.
saying?
Yeah, yeah.
It's just because it's a winter sport. It
23,
stretches
24,
into March.
24,
The year,
25,
yeah.
25, 26. You're going into year 3 this year. You.
Yeah, this will
Both
be
you
the
guys.
30th.
Both you
Yes,
guys.
correct,
Yeah, got
correct.
it.
We're
You're-
year 3.
I'm just trying to make sure everyone clarifies, yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of funny. I had just finished telling you guys, right? I want to usually do podcasts for up to an hour, 15 hour
Now
and a
you
half.
cook, bro.
But
I told you.
unless we kind of go into it, right?
Yeah.
And and God is like funny because boom, as we get into it, I'm like, oh, this is gonna go. But it's good though. This is good conversation because you guys are literally breaking down the foundation of how you got this program, where you guys are going. We're going all the way back to your dad, you know, and it's kind of cool. And then you're telling your stories about all this, and then kind of like I said, it ties all back into it because people, like I said, pretty sure a lot of people out there they watch the documentary, ESPN. But you guys have said we built the house for those kids to kind of come, right?
So they
And
can
then-
live in it.
and then even right now, like the same thing.
Yeah.
If you really think about the wrestling program, bro, at one point, I mean, this is why it's so good, and this is how good God is, bro, and it's all about His timing. It almost, in a way, and everyone's getting to know this, it could have ceased to exist. It could be gone.
100%.
And obviously, like I said,
it was
God
so
allowing you to take on the job that you did, you finishing up barber school. Like you said, you were over there working in Clovis, but it was no purpose. And look at you guys today. I mean, and vice versa, though. Look at me. Like I said, I was kind of like the same thing, bro. Like getting up every day, no purpose, no nothing, right? And now I can say I get up, bro, and I live for this, you know? And I really, truly, like, I mean this when I say it, bro. Like I told everyone yesterday, if I told you I'm going to podcast with you, I'm going to make it happen. This is what I do now for a living. And like you guys said, the work ethic, bro, you guys are I've been doing podcasting 5 days in a row. I
Yeah.
mean, by the end of this time,
You're busy.
I'll have 10 podcasts done by end of today,
Nice.
this week alone. And then the rest of August is just swamped. But guess what? I don't feel like it's work, bro. I feel like I'm just having fun. I'm just having a conversation, you know? Something that we would probably do as boys. Like say, I know you guys are younger than me, but say we were friends. You guys came over, we hung out. This is what we would be doing anyway.
Yeah,
The
we'd
difference
have-
is we put it on camera now.
We'd have these convos without mics and without a camera.
Exactly.
Like,
And that's how kind of, honestly, that's how Inside the Pod with Lou was born. I would be in my garage, bro, and I would be talking to whoever, and they would be like, dude, if you just had this recorded, like this is gold. And it was all these little conversations like this. I mean, it wasn't necessarily wrestling, but like you guys know, bro, especially you. I grew up baseball, basketball, mainly baseball. That was my sport, right? And I never would have thought in a million years that the Lord was going to put me in the fighting game, the wrestling game, boxing, right? But
Right.
that's what it is. And like I said, I'm just being obedient.
and honestly, I'm gonna give you your flowers right now. Like you're doing something for sports that aren't on the main line. Like they're not on
The exposure's not
Yeah, the exposure's not there. So that's why, like, I mean, you know, you're doing your due diligence to all these people because, man, fighters put their life on the line, man. People don't realize that. They don't.
Yeah.
They don't realize and solely we do wrestling, but when you talk MMA, you talk boxing, people don't really think like it's for your what do you say? It's for your pleasure, you know. It's for your entertainment. But these guys train, bro. Like, you know, it's a simple accident. It's a little more simple than you think. You know what I mean? These guys are literally putting their life on the line. So you're doing the due diligence for them, man. 'Cause they don't always have that outlet to let them speak their story, or you know, just even talking about their next fight, or just, you know what I mean. And that's within itself, man. You're helping a sport we put our time into, you know, grow. reach a kid that maybe never would have in his life thought he would wrestle or anything. He hears this podcast and be like, hey, those two dudes are pretty cool. Hey man, if he learned to be like that, or he learned a lot of the way he is through wrestling, let me give it a try, man. Maybe I could be as cool as that guy. And it's you don't know who it's gonna hit one day or reach.
I really believe that. And not only that, like I see like okay, how many people, especially in our town, podcast? I mean, very few. I'm not saying there's not none, but it's very, very few, right? And no kids really think about one day, like, I could be a podcaster.
Yeah.
And I look at it like this. Like, I was always that kid, bro, that people told me, hey, bro, you talk too much. Boom, 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 right? And it's like, look what happened.
Yeah.
This professional yapper is literally, that's how good God is. Like, I'm doing this for a living now. And I love doing it. And I could sit there. I feel like everything happens for a reason, right? Everything has a reasoning, a purpose. The 10 plus years at the sheriff department was necessary. It built me as a man. It taught me how to lead, gave me accountability, right? I loved how you said that. If you're on time, you're late, right? If you're early, you're on time, and that's how it was over there, bro. Like, and that taught me, and I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh yeah, on my whole career, I was late all the time, but when I left there, when I became a manager at Good Guys, I was always on time. I was always early, unless like something like an accident or something somehow, but most times, because at the end of the day, like you said, you're trying to build something, right? You're trying to build a foundation. If I'm showing up late to work, but I'm going to tell you and Tony, hey, you guys need to be on time. Yeah. You're going to look at me like,
what's that?
What? Right? But if you see me, like what I would do is I'd get there. And so if my shop is dirty, I made sure my guys saw me clean it. I threw the trash. I did everything, right? Because when I told you to do it, you can't sit there and tell me that I didn't do it. I did it already. I cleaned the restrooms. I scrubbed the toilets. I did what I had to do. It's not my job. It's this is part of your guys' job.
Leading by example.
And I would try to tell the mechanics. They'd be like, oh, well, I'm this and that. Like, I understand. I still did it. Just clean all I ask is to clean your area. GSs, which is like the oil change guys. They're coming up. So you think of it like we all have to start the low man on the totem pole, right?
Yep.
And so I would tell them like, bro, I'm the manager here. I shouldn't have to clean the toilet. I'm gonna show you guys though. Look, I'm gonna do it first, and then you guys make your own schedule. But I don't want to have to come back and tell you guys again. Respectfully. Because at the end of the day, I don't believe in micromanaging. I don't believe in like I should have to go outside, and I would tell my guys like, if you guys are out there shooting the shit, do what you got to do. But if you promise this customer this time, and I come out and it's not done, but I saw you guys shooting the shit all morning, then you're gonna see me be on your guys'
on fire.
Because at the end of the day, like I said, we're all grown men, and now it's something that I learned from over there. Once again, we talk about taking what we like and we don't, right? I had supervisors that I could tell you right now, I would never want to be like them, and then I have supervisors I could tell you I'll never live up to them. Because they're that good, bro, as far as the way they would lead and how they would be. And I could tell you like this, bro. It made you, like I said, there was one day where like all our shift, and I won't say it, all of our shift called in. Only a few, because it was upset. There was something going on. And only a few of us showed up to work. And at the end of the day, I was like, how am I going to leave my sergeant that's had my back, bro, all year? Everything he's ever done. I go, nah, me and my whole crew showed up to work. And then they split us up because we were short-staffed. And I remember my sergeant telling me like, I'll always have your back. But I already knew he did because he's already shown me that, And I look at it like this. I think at the end of the day, I knew I could never build the store how I wanted it to be because it wasn't mine. But guess what? This podcast is all mine, right?
Yeah.
And I could build it how I want to build it. Yeah. So when I tell you guys, like, I'm definitely going to go to one of your guys' matches, and we're going to go out there. We're going to give these kids, especially these girls, we're going to give them their flowers, bro. We're going to interview them. We're going to have them come on. And eventually, in God's timing, because when I build I'll show you guys after we do our podcast, I'll show you my garage. That's going to be Podcast Central. And and I look at it now, I was like, okay, Lord, now I understand why you blessed me with this home. I'm going to tell you guys right now a little like kind of, I didn't want this home, bro. I didn't want to live in Faribault. I didn't want
who does?
Things, right? But
JK.
It's
Faribault's nice.
The home that they gave me. Once again, it's a blessing. And I tell people like this, I don't deserve any of this. I deserve God's wrath, bro. But yet he gives me his grace, right? So that makes me want to be a better person to everybody else. I don't care we interacted, we had bad interactions, maybe back then. Okay, that Louis is no longer here. That guy died. That guy died in 2023 when Junior Reyes met me in that kitchen.
It's perfect.
And then now that I'm here right now, I could sit here and genuinely tell you, bro, there's no hate in my heart. I just want to make sure that all I can do is if you still don't, oh, nah, bro, you're being fake. Okay, I'll love you from afar, bro. I'll pray for you. That's it. And then just kind of do your, because remember, God's a gentleman.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be the same way. I'm not going to come and force myself as far as the religion and all that on you. No. If you want to feel peace, like you said, if you want to feel some type of way, accept Jesus into your heart. Romans 10:9. So that's just do it down the road, and then as you kind of go, bro, you'll see it'll come. And look at, I think we're all walking testimonies of it little by little, because I can sit here and tell you guys, dude, this podcast has been a blessing to me, because I did not know. I didn't even, when you just kind of jumped in it. If you think about it, Liz kind of started it. She started a little too fast. Then you clicked it. I was like, it didn't even allow me to kind of, and then, all right, let's just jump in it then, right? And that's how us Mendota boys are, bro. That's how us Mendota boys are. We just kind of get in it.
You weren't ready.
And we kind of just, right? We just start stuff up and we go.
Hey, but I have a question for you though.
Yeah,
Going back to the kitchen.
Yes, sir.
You and Reyes, right? And you were checking the beers, and in this walk of, at this point in your walk in life, right? What thought, right? Because he embodied you, but at this time you were old Louis. What thought was old Louis having that made you want to be a new Louis? What made you want to go, you know what? I'm gonna accept the invite. What made you make the decision?
Oh, I'm gonna tell you, one is that Junior's my friend.
Yeah.
So we had that rapport. We played sports together, right? So we battled on the basketball court. We battled on the baseball field together all our lives, right? We were generally friends, the way you guys are friends, because we were 1 year apart too.
Yeah.
I was 1 year older and he was 1 year younger. So I was like, okay. And like I said, just knowing him, I thought in my head, okay, I knew no one knew this besides myself. I can tell you maybe my family, and I'm going to give a shout out to my family as well. Like, I understand why they feel the way they feel about me doing this podcast without really having a direction yet, as far as because PTSD, bro. I would go to them all the time for money when I had a horrible gambling problem.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
So I understand it, and I just pray for them. Like, and I have nothing bad ever. Like I said, the Bible states, honor your mother and your father. Right. I believe that comes all your family.
You'll live long.
But what had me at the moment was like, I knew how bad I was at it. I mean, gambling. I knew that I was just drowning myself in the drinking at that point to kind of, feel at peace. But then I wake up in the morning, I feel just as bad, right? So I was like, I really, like, what do I have to lose?
Yeah.
I mean, if I go to this thing and
it helped that he was
really helped that he was my friend.
And it was an old friend.
I mean, at the end of the day, I really helped that he was my friend.
And then Coach Reyes, till this day, right? And I've always said this to people. He's a good walking testament of, to me, what it is to be, a Christian man, right? Because, I know he's lived his life to where, hey, he might have to sacrifice, fleshly desires or of the such, right? Because his mission statement is that is for service. And for context, for people that don't know, Coach Reyes is currently the basketball head coach, right?
For the girls varsity.
And the basketball head coach, basketball girls program in Mendota's killer, man. Killer.
And he's only building a more beast. They should have he said this is probably his best team so far that he has this coming up year.
Yes.
But real quick, on you touch on that, like you said, I believe, like I said, the old Louis, when I was going through it, and now that I'm walking in it, like, Junior is my spiritual mentor. Yeah. Right. So he's been in it a little longer, but like, remember, God uses us in different ways. So I don't want people to come out and think like, oh, well, I can't, because I'm gonna tell you this, like, even more personal. Like, my mom recently, I just kind of reconnected with her. It's crazy, bro, because I don't know scripture like that yet. I'm learning. The one thing about me is when I want to learn something, bro, I'm gonna try to master it, right?
That's good.
So when I'm talking to my mother and I'm kind of giving her the word, because she's like, well, mijo, how do you, when you say the Lord speaks to you, or you put it on your heart, what does that mean? And I was like, I can't explain it, because it's like, he doesn't talk to me. I don't ever hear his voice, but it's just a feeling, Mom. Think of it like the Holy Spirit in me, right? And like, it's crazy because as of recent, bro, like I said, I don't condone this or push it, but as I stopped smoking weed, I feel like it's made me so much clearer and so much like I'm direct access to the Lord. Yeah. So he'll kind of like, it's kind of wild, bro. Like, and this can go like on another day, but because this can go longer, but it's like,
there's a part 2 coming.
No, it could be definitely a part 2, but he gives me like visions, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I'll tell you guys something crazy real fast, just because part of the testimony is like, I remember the Lord giving me a vision of when I was 7 years old, bro. And I used to live I was at my grandma's house on the east side, my mom's mom. And like I said, I had nothing against no one, bro. We grew up in Mendota, so we know what it's like for, the field workers and people that come from Mexico and they could do their thing. Yeah. But in this house particular, that they had the gentleman that would come, work in the fields, and then go back, right? And there was one gentleman in particular that was like, hey, come here. And he gave me and I don't know why, I just like, I'll come back. But I was on my bike. Yeah. And later on, he just revealed this to me recently. The Lord was like, if you would have went there, I have my protection's been on you since you were a little boy. He's like, if you would have went there, he would have raped and killed you. And I looked at it like, what? And when I told my mom this recently, and I told this to my wife, they're both like, what? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm just telling you, like, we don't understand God's protection. So I try to look at it like this, bro. When I take in something now, I look at it like, okay, God, what are you trying to show me? What are you trying to teach me? Right? If a door closes, I don't look at it as a rejection anymore. I look at it as God's protection and has something bigger for me. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And it's like, and I want people to understand, it's literally like you said, bro. It's a daily walk. Pick up your cross and take a step, because it's not gonna happen overnight. Like you guys said, it's timing. And you have to truly be obedient, and that'll come in God's time. Because when you first come to it, it's new, it's wild. Like you said, when I first went to the Bible studies, like I was like, what is this? Like, what am I feeling? You know, why am I doing this? And different emotions. Like if I was an officer, I got biggest eagle in high school, bro. You know, so it's like I had that kind of mentality. You know, I always thought, I'm gonna be honest, I always felt like I'm better than this person. You know, and in reality, like God had to humble me so much and almost take everything away, because I didn't hit rock bottom, bro. I came all the way, and then he like stopped me. And to me, rock bottom would have been losing my family, losing my home, right? Having to go back to Mendota, live with your parents, you know, because you have to reset, right? The Lord allowed me to reset. And yeah, everyone looked at me like, oh man, he's probably a failure. You know, he was this, that, and that. And at first, it did irk me. But then, like you said, who cares? What does it matter? Those opinions, were they here going to come help me save my home when I was losing it?
Hell no.
Right? Did they come and say, okay, are they on the daily grind with me? No. So I don't care what anybody thinks, bro. If all I'm saying is, like you said, if we can help one kid out there, we can help 2 kids out there. You know, an adult, someone that heard your story about how, you know, they took your senior year. Why? We don't know that. Only you and God know that, right? Whatever happened with you, only you and God know that, right? And that's the beauty of the Lord, bro, is he makes us all feel so special because we have direct access to him, you know? And he makes every single person like that feel that way, you know? Because I could tell you right now, I feel like I'm God's best friend, bro. I feel like me and God are like this. But I'm pretty sure you feel that way when you talk to him, and you feel that way when you talk to him. Just like your parents probably feel that way, and whoever is a believer, right? And that's the beauty of the Lord. And that's why I say it's not about religion. It's about relationship. But that's kind of my little thing right now. And I'm learning as I go, bro. I still talk to Junior. Like I said, when we do our Bible studies, sometimes we don't even get in the actual Bible study because we're fellowshipping through our week. Yeah. And I'm kind of telling him what happened. And I could tell you right now, bro, this coming up Wednesday, I'm going to tell him about this. I guarantee you we're not even going to Bible study. We're going to fellowship because it's going to be like such a blessing. You guys, this podcast, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm not just saying it because you're here. This has been one of the biggest blessings. And I want to thank you guys for just breaking down the entire story of how Mendota Wrestling got saved and how you guys are building it up, bro.
You didn't even touch the notes over there.
Well, we kind of did. And like I said, that's always why we could do a part 2. You know, there's always stuff that, and because we're already pretty much 2.5 hours in, which is great. It's all good. And I'm going to be honest, it's great content, bro. People start watching it. It doesn't matter to them.
And then we kind of are smack in the middle, you know?
Yeah.
We can leave them with, hey, man, when they come back on, we got to tune back in, you know?
Yeah. Well, I just want to conclude with this, right?
Oh, if
I can, because we're on the track of like, hey, you know, the coaching timeline.
Yes, sir.
So we did year 1. I call out Tony. I take 2 kids to. We didn't even touch your junior high year, bro. So we did.
We'll do that for part 2.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, and he freaking. Well, his first year he did all right. I think you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll touch it up on the next one if you want.
Yeah, no, I mean
the shirt from the first year.
We'll touch it up on part 2. So like I said, we could leave people like, oh wow, like because I feel like this podcast has been so good and so informative. So like people, when they really get to see it, bro, I think it's gonna be a blessing to a lot of people.
And like you said, informative. It's like first and foremost, it's a sport that a lot of people don't really know a lot about.
Yeah.
Like when I reached out to you about like, hey, bro, because he didn't know who Ant was.
Oh, Anthony?
Or Michaela. And all
you know what's funny? Anthony's going to do a coach's clinic for us on Wednesday.
This Wednesday?
This Wednesday, yeah. He'll be in Mendota. Yeah.
Go, bro.
See,
I have to be there.
Yeah, and Anthony's in that same age group of that group of kids that I coached up. And Anthony,
what time?
Kid's amazing. We're looking to do it Wednesday in Mendota at 2. We said 2 to 5. Blanca just sent me the flyer. I just saw it. I got to look at it.
At the high school?
Yeah, we'll do it at our high school wrestling room. But it's small. It's not. It was short. It was last minute, and he just hit me up out of the blue, be like, "Hey, can I just do?"
I think it's before he heads out.
Yeah, so he was like, "Hey, I'm in town," and he wanted just to get back. And I told him, "Hey, you're a great kid," and the thought about you just wanting to do that, dude, because I know dudes like, "Hey, we're out of high school. You just want to mess around and not do shit and just be a desmadre." But Anthony's real applied, and he's real like his parents did a really good job with him, and he's real steadfast in what he wants to get done. And he's like, yeah, his heritage, his parents are from Mendota. Right? He grew up in Central Fresno, whatever, but he never forgot
His roots are in Mendota.
You could tell.
100%.
You could tell his dad, Jose, did a great job.
Yeah.
You could tell Jose did a great job of not, and I feel like this is not, I mean, I wouldn't say an issue, but like something sometimes that hit my nerves is like when people who move out, like leave Mendota or whatever, go and do bigger and better things. They tend to forget, like, and you could tell Ant's father did a wonderful job of reminding him what he came from.
Big Ant.
Being able to take pride in, you know what I mean? Like, take pride in where he came from,
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people, just because Mendota's small, not too much water flowing through there, they tend to I'm out. It's all right. They'll speak negatively. Man, bro, you got to remember, bro, this is what made you. This is what, if you didn't grow up here, you probably wouldn't be doing what you're doing now.
Mm-hmm.
It was the grit, what this town taught you,
Exactly.
And you can tell his dad did a great job, bro, of like, you can tell he has that little bit of Mendo in him.
He's got it.
Yeah, without ever being raised there.
Yeah.
You know
Well, I know you said you watched the podcast, right? And
Yeah.
You know how it was so raw and authentic because I didn't know who the kids were. Like I just took it on as a favor to a friend. And when Ant initially, I didn't know he was from Mendota, bro. So it was like, that was a live reaction when I was like, oh, you're from Mendota? I was like, oh, shout out Mendota. Because like you said, at the end of the day, it's always like, regardless. And like everything you just said right now, bro, I promise you, I'm humbly saying this. Like when the Lord blesses this podcast and we blow up to where we're going to go, I'm going to make sure I never forget where I came from. Because the whole goal of it is like this. Look, it's not my success, bro. It's not my money. It's nothing I done. Louis Gonzalez didn't do nothing. I'm just being obedient. I have to make sure that God gets all the glory, because at the end of the day, I want people to really see, like, he's working through me. He's blessing me. All these, like you said, remember the fight game. We've talked before. Yeah. How am I in the fight game? There's not because of me, bro. Like, the Lord is blessing me. So when he does
to bless other people,
bro. And I truly mean that in my heart. Like, there's no more greed in my heart. Like, I know that I just need to, obviously, it says in the Bible, I go off Bible. It says to leave your kids an inheritance. So I'm going to make sure I do that for my children.
Yep.
But whatever I have over, I'm not going to leave all this money in my savings or build. No, bro, we're going to, like I said, here in Faribault, here in Mendota, I know, again, I had the Mendota mayor on and Jesse Mendoza. I see their vision is great. I talked to Freddie here from Faribault. Like, I want to complexes, bro, complexes. Indoor stuff, 106 degrees today. What are these kids going to do outside? Let's be honest, bro. So if we have stuff where they have indoor, there's their air conditioning, but they can still work out. They can still do their thing. That's what I want to bring eventually in God's time down the road,
And you actually putting those people on platforms like this, sometimes I'm a firm believer. Sometimes people just need that little kick in the ass.
Yeah.
Like to really believe. You don't always believe in yourself. It's just part of being a person.
That's just so true.
Sometimes it takes, Louis gave me the opportunity to be here. Oh, dang. 5,000 people viewed that? Wait, maybe I can do what I believe I can do. Sometimes you don't believe, but you're capable.
For sure.
We don't know how capable we are sometimes. It's our own thought of not believing in ourselves that stops us,
And I think
and as confident and as much leadership as I have, I go through those same things. But sometimes from what I've come from what I've been through, it gives me that thought of, I can do this. I can conquer anything. And like you say, you found what gave you that was God,
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little bit off topic. Like you said, your mom asked you, how do I know God's speaking to me? I haven't really took that journey, and I've seen my parents, but I've seen my parents. I literally seen my parents. I was old enough to understand when they took that journey. And now I understand why I go into rooms and I hear about God so much, even not just this podcast. I have a buddy who's a barber who does a podcast, and he's on his spiritual journey. I think he's like not even a month in.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a really good connection. I barely know this guy, though.
Yeah.
And it's like, God is showing me this guy because if he can do it, I can do it. And it's, you got to understand it. It's not, like you say, he's not going to speak directly to you. But all of these outlets, this today, that barber guy, messaging, interacting, is God speaking to me.
Exactly.
It's like, these normal people that are just like you are getting their spirit right with God, and it's like, hey,
Amen.
I'm here. It's basically him. He's not forcing me to come, but it's just like him when he's like, I'm here.
Yeah, he's a gentleman, bro.
Yeah.
And he'll let you know, like, I mean, that's why I try to tell people, like, I'm no one special. Like, I didn't grow up, like I said, I mean, yeah, my family, my parents were my parents, and I love them, I understand they were young, and they didn't know either. They're kind of figuring it out, too. But I look at it like, I grew up middle class, bro. I always had nice things. I was never, like, picked on, or didn't have nothing really bad. But yet, God is still using me. Like I said, I only deserve his wrath, but yet he gives me his grace. So I try to explain to people, like, if he's using me, a little Mendota boy, bro, that he could use anybody, bro. And it's at his timing, though, because you have to make sure that this is pure. If this is pure, then God will use you, bro, because he's not going to bless you to be greedy or bless you to use it for bad. That's just not. It's not going to happen. The world is enough. You got to remember. And once again, we can get crazy into it. I don't want to go too crazy, but just know that God loves you, and it's his timing, But we'll definitely say, I'll be there Wednesday. If the invitation is there, I could show up, Just because I haven't seen Ann in a while anyway. It would be good to see him before he heads off into college, get a little interview with him.
Yeah, I was going to say, give him a little mini interview.
Because we're going to interview again in December. We're doing our part 2. I'm going to do with Kayla, with David, and with Ant. Because by then...
I think this was going to be 10 times better because I told you I watched the whole episode. You could see them, like how me and Carlos kind of just came in. We know each other. We just went off the bat. We didn't have to say, hey, let's do this, start over again. We just, hey, let's hit it head on. You could see them getting... Ant was a little comfortable early, but you can see the other 2 kids getting comfortable
towards the tail,
end. So I think
and then it was, be honest, like, at that moment, I didn't know anything about them. I don't know what questions to ask. I was learning, like, and now that I've kind of interviewed Coach Moreno, I've interviewed you guys, like, I've been around the fighting game now a little bit. Like, I'm kind of learning, right? I feel like this next time around, and now that I know the kids, you guys will really see us, like, their personalities come out, but really, like, the podcaster in me that's grown, you'll see that maybe I'll be able to answer the questions and really get their personalities out there. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, do you guys want to finish anything up on this podcast? But we'll save for part 2 because there's definitely going to be a part 2 coming, guys, for sure. 100%.
I will save it. This was great, man. Great opportunity. Had fun.
Thank you. Coach?
Ahí está. No, just if you're kicking rocks in a rough place, just know that, hey, it's just rough today, but tomorrow it's the next day. And I tell these kids too, I try to embed this motto, right? Like, hey, you just got to keep going forward. And I put it in this stainless steel, right? It's like we have this club in the room, right, that the Aztecs used when they fought.
Mm-hmm.
And for anyone that fights, you don't fight backwards. You always fight going forward. So life's giving you rough paths. Siempre adelante. And keep it going.
All righty. Well, like every podcast, we start with the Bible verse and we end with it. So today's verse was Colossians 3:23. Sorry for everyone out there. Work willingly at whatever you do as though you were working for the Lord rather than for people. So with that being said, guys, thank you guys for coming on for part 1, and I look forward to part 2.
Thank you.
Sweet.
All righty.